Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State resumes spring football this morning. It's practice number 6 for the Buckeyes. OSU will hold 8 more before the annual spring game, Saturday, April 18th. Buckeyes will have Student Appreciation Day this coming Saturday. Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day will speak after practice today around 11 a.m. We'll carry his comments live on the Fan when he hits the podium. In college basketball, Texas and South Carolina advanced to the women's Final Four. The Longhorns eliminated Michigan last night, while South Carolina dispatched Texas Christian. The women's Final Four will be Friday in Phoenix. The men's Final Four Saturday in Indianapolis. Illinois takes on UConn. Michigan battles Arizona. And in baseball last night, the Guardians beat the Dodgers 4-2, while the Reds shut out the Pirates in Cincinnati 2-0. This update is sponsored by Metal Supermarkets, your convenience store for metal. Visit Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com or 2180 Wilson Road for all your metal needs. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lamery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. We hit that real truth coming up at 10 o'clock. Some interesting comments from the NFL owners' meetings from Browns ownership. We'll get to that as the show goes along. Tuesdays with Tiberi. 45 years yesterday for him. My God, at Channel 10. That's just a staggering thing. So he will join us with tales of days gone by coming up at 10:30. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll take Ryan Day's press conference live as we are inching closer and closer to the spring game. What are your 2, when you guys fly, what are your, if all goes well and once you're on the plane, boarding door has closed and you're taking off, what is your go-to way on a 2-hour flight? How do you pass the time?
Headphones in, regardless of if there's any audio playing, and then a book.
Book, okay.
Yeah.
Books, okay, very good.
So it used to be for me sleep. I could sleep on a plane, so
Yeah.
I would sleep, and then the flight is super quick that way because you don't know any different. Although recently I have been a book guy. I have been reading a lot on planes the last couple of years.
Both of those strategies are undefeated in that they are not bound by technology. So I used to do both of those things. I used to be the book guy, and I used to sleep. And I used to fly a lot more than I do now, and we still travel quite a bit. But it was neck pillow, headphones, like noise canceling. Remember the old Bose, like noise canceling headphones?
Those chunky boys?
Yeah. Exactly. It's a black mask over an eye, like a cocoon of silence and darkness was how I would approach a flight, and I could sleep. I mean, as soon as I got in my seat, I'd put all that stuff on, put a seatbelt on, and I'll wake up when I get there. And I used to be able to do it, and then we had kids, and then it all got wrecked. And so once you have kids, especially when they're little, now my kids are awesome travelers now, but when they're little, it's numb, man. Like you're knee deep in the muck. You're just trying to get out alive. And so that changed everything about the way that I fly. And then I found that what I would need was some sort of technology to get me through it. Most of the planes that we fly now, I find, have some sort of in-seat entertainment option. So we always have headphones for us, for the kids, and ideally I try to watch something that I can get through. So like, for example, if they have a full season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'm in. I mean, on a long flight, I can bang that out. That's how I watched Ted Lasso. I watched the whole first season of Ted Lasso flying back and forth to Lawrence from start to back. Haven't started season 2 yet, by the way, Reese. And I don't know that I need to. I feel like maybe season 1 was...
So season 2 gets a little arduous, I'll say.
Okay.
Like you kind of feel like you're working your way through it. It's still, I think, it's still good.
Okay. Yeah, Oh no, I did watch the first episode of it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, here's what we're gonna do."
Yeah,
okay, all right.
Especially with other things to watch.
Yeah,
that you have options now, and you have live sports, and you have Dodgers baseball. How about your boys last night?
Oh yeah,
it's one of those that falls further on the back burner.
Okay. So for the first time, and I would say probably a decade, our flight from. And again, I kind of had to scramble here, so I would not have normally booked these flights, but our connection was through Houston to get back, and so we went Panama City to Houston, and for the first time in probably a decade, we were on a plane that it was 2 and 2, and no technology, no Wi-Fi, no TVs and seats, no Wi-Fi. Like, when's the last time you've been on a flight that didn't have Wi-Fi? Like this thing didn't have Wi-Fi, had nothing. They had. A lovely flight attendant named Alice, who that name would befit her age, and she would go ahead and read every single thing on the safety word for word verbatim. When she was selling the credit cards, it was the whole thing. It was a minute and a half. But I digress. Once we found out that there were no technology, it was a mad scramble at the airport because I got a notification on my app, on my United app, that there were no technology. So the kids are scrambling. They're trying to download shows, trying to get things done. I'm trying to help them. And then I realized that I don't have anything to entertain me for 2.5 hours. And what am I just going to be like my dad and just sit there in silence and stare forward for 2.5 hours, which is how he travels? No, I can't do that. So I look over and Bootsy's playing some game on his phone where it looks kind of like Tetris, but instead of the things falling, you just place them and then color coordinate them. And then it's like Tetris, right? So I don't do any of this. I've never done any of this. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm approaching 50. I've done none of these things ever. So I'm all right. Well, maybe I'll do this for 2 hours. Bootsy's, oh, you love it. Let's do it. So I download the thing. So they put a pressure on you. You have a certain amount of days to complete this task. And inevitably what is happening is you are creating probably the image of somebody famous through these various things that you it's called block blast. And so everything that you every level you pass, one more thing you get to make this thing. And then they put a timer on. I got like 2 days to make it right. Fellas, I need an intervention.
Oh no.
I damn near missed the start. This morning, I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? It's 8:56 and I'm block blasting trying to get past a level, and then they're like, oh, only 12% of the planet has gotten to this level. Well, it's possible that only 12% of the people who have ever downloaded this have ever been so stupid to play it this long.
You're one
I'm
of
going to have to get it off the phone.
Because now
I'm going to have to delete it.
On the streaming services, you see people that will advertise those games. Like even like WWE wrestlers do it. You're like, you're not playing these games. You're not doing this. Like, it's a free online casino. It's so much fun. And I'm like, you just need either touch some grass or do something else. And you become that.
Bo goes to bed at 11. Next thing you know, it's midnight.
Yes.
Blast. Next
I'm
level.
block blasting. I'm sitting here. I'm picking up the kids at lacrosse last night. Normally I watch. I'm sitting in my car. I'm block blasting. I got this incredible sense of urgency because I'm being told that this whole board goes away in like 48 hours, and I'm only halfway through. I got to finish this board, damn it. How can I go on with life if I haven't finished this board? And then you have the realization that you've become what you bitch about your kids for being. You're no different. You're an idiot. Like what are you doing with your time? You only have how many days, weeks, months do I have left? I'm on the back slope, boys. I'm playing block blast.
But you
on
can
a Tuesday
be
morning.
Part of the elite of the elite for worldwide block blasting.
I guess.
So that's something.
That's what they're telling me, Reese. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm being told that I'm in the top 12 percentile of people who've ever played the game. Now I have a hard time believing that.
It is.
Why would they lie to you? Why would they deceive you?
They're so honest about everything.
It's so funny because I've gotten sucked into a couple of those games over time, and I will still play one or two every now and then on the phone. But this is my whole argument with shows and why I don't want to start shows, because I don't want to get sucked into them and feel like I have to watch them.
I would say the difference there, a little bit of apples and avocados. The difference there is the show is hopefully mentally stimulating. This is literally just brain rot. I mean, that's all this is. There's no way to describe it other than that. I am just trying to put little Tetris pieces in places that give me little jewels, which allow me to get to a next level, which allow me to make a giant thing that looks like somebody famous. I did this the entire flight. I'm not proud of this. I did this on the entire flight from Panama City to Houston. It was a blink and the flight was over. It was as if I slept.
I guess mission accomplished.
Well, not now.
But now delete it. Now get rid of it.
Now I'm like one of those people on the blue meth from Breaking Bad. Like I can't.
You're a junkie.
I'm a brain rot junkie. It's ridiculous. I can't prepare for the show. I'm like, well, I wanted to do this whole thing about conference expansion and all these things. I didn't prep for any of it because I'm block blasting. We'll try to do better.
This might be my
Are you
favorite.
going to block blast in the break?
I might. It's sitting here looking at me, and I got one more to go. And my guess, it feels like it's either like a Vincent Van Gogh or an Albert Einstein is going to be the thing that I'm making here.
Those feel like wildly different images.
This is my favorite show opening ever.
What happens?
We're going to have an intervention.
What happens at the... I'm acknowledging it. I'm like Chrissy on the couch. I'm going to tell you, this is what's going to be nuts. Because I'm going to finish this board. I'm going to get this board done. When I'm done with this board, the anger that will wash over me when they just throw another board up, I've accomplished nothing. I've just wasted time. That's all it is. And maybe that's what that just was. I don't know. Perhaps a solution to college athletics in the most improbable of places. Among the things we'll get to next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
When you are a member of Tel-Ohio, your money works harder for you. Lock in 4% APY on a 24-month CD and watch your savings grow with a credit union built for its members. Visit telohio.org to learn more.
Federally insured by NCUA. Membership open to anyone in Ohio. Restrictions apply.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number one, I use it. Number two, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Take your shot to save at Great Lakes Hyundai. Shoot the hoop to get extra savings on your new car purchase. On top of big shot savings like 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson's for up to 5 years. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or GLakesHyundai.com. With Proof Credit, some customers may not qualify. First to cruise during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/31.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself. But here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. You know High Bank for their award-winning spirits, but the food deserves just as much love. Enjoy happy hour with friends, brunch with family, and dinner that never misses. Make your reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Sunday mornings at 8.
It's the Fan Call-In Show, presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9999. 8966.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Springtime is here, and you know what that means. It's time for mulch madness. Did you know that too much mulch is bad for trees and shrubs? 2 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more and you risk causing roots to grow up and around trunks, which increases unhealthy stress, shortens tree life, and even keeps moisture from getting down to tree roots. To find out more about mulch madness or to find a certified arborist near you, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see partly cloudy skies here for today with highs around 80 degrees. It will also be fairly windy with winds gusting up to near 40 miles per hour here this afternoon. And then for tonight, we'll see showers and storms moving in after midnight with lows down to 63. And then for tomorrow, more scattered showers in the morning and into the afternoon with highs in the 60s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
This whole show is just going to be a series of things I never thought that I would either do or say out loud. I feel like that's kind of where we're headed on a Tuesday. Get nuts on a Tuesday. Boy, don't aggregate this. I don't want this aggregated. Tommy Tuberville might be onto something.
Oh boy. We need to cut that as a drop.
No, he might have a point. I don't know.
Old Tubbs.
Yeah, such a. I don't know. Maybe this is why he's there. Maybe this is why he's there. So he introduced a bill, some legislation about putting some guardrails on college sports. And the one thing that he didn't do leads me to believe, and again, I don't think anything's going to come of this, but I do think this is a pretty good jumping off point. The one thing he didn't do, I think, gives it a chance. Unlike the SCORE Act and all these other things. And by the way, don't keep track of this at home. Don't. Let this fly through your brain with less impact than Block Blast does for me. I mean, just let it. It's not important. It's one thing after another. This one might have a point. Unlike all the other things that we see on this, Tuberville's his legislation does not at all address limiting in any way NIL. It doesn't address that at all. All of the other legislation that these clowns have tried to get done, whether it's Big Ten, SEC, anybody politically who's trying to do it, there is usually some sort of monetary cap that is put on the student athlete. There's usually a cap. How can we limit that? And the funny thing is no one's really learned from this. In 2021, Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice, flatly called it, quote, flatly illegal to limit athlete compensation. Flatly illegal. It's 2026. That's 5 years ago. And we still have people who are trying to limit athlete compensation. So if that's your jumping off point, you're going nowhere. Just understand that part of it. You're going nowhere if that's the jumping off point. Tuberville's legislation doesn't address that. In fact, he does address two things that I think most folks would like. And Stuart Mandel did a great job of breaking all this down in The Athletic at the end of last week. The two things that Tuberville's legislation addresses: a one-time transfer. You can transfer one time freely anywhere you want. Now, immediately, the pushback on that is, well, can a coach do that? He can only transfer one time. He can only leave a job one time, and that's where this gets a little tricky. But again, a jumping off point. The other thing that he addresses here is, this goes back to my buddy Deep Throat Nick. He had the 23-year age limit. Tuberville's legislation, 5 years to play 5. You got 5 years. Once you start, you have 5 years to play. You want to play for 5 years of college athletics? Fine. Go right ahead. But you have 5 years to do it, which I think is reasonable. I think it's reasonable. We used to have 5 years to play 4. You could have a medical red shirt in there. You could red shirt, whatever. Now you can have 5 years to play 5. Let's not worry about the red shirts. Let's not worry about the waivers. Let's not get bogged down in who's been hurt, who hasn't. If you're looking for the best example of what this would sort out, it would sort out the Trinidad Chambliss cases. His case. Trinidad Chambliss, if you're not following along, I don't blame you. Ole Miss quarterback, shot out of a cannon this year, wasn't even supposed to be the starter, led him all the way to the playoff, was incredible. Petitioned for a 6th year of eligibility at Ole Miss. He was granted that by a judge who, and the reason he was granted the 6th year is he was granted a medical redshirt in junior college, despite there being no evidence that he ever applied for a medical redshirt in junior college. But he was granted one anyway. So this is the Diego Pavia. This is this. Like, just play college sports forever and keep getting these waivers. This would theoretically solve that. You got 5 years to play 5. Once you start, if you're 18, 19, you're done by 23, 24, and that's it. 5 seasons to play 5. That's not bad. That might have a little bit of teeth to it. And I think the one-time transfer, if they can find a way to solve that part of it, and I think that could be a little tricky because what I mentioned with the coaches, that could have some teeth too. What I like about it, though, is there isn't anything that's trying to limit what an athlete can make, because that's where they get into the most trouble right away. And we have a ruling from the Supreme Court on the record from a Supreme Court justice from 2021 saying flatly illegal to limit athlete compensation. So anything that has that in it, just throw it away. It's not going to hold up. It's on the record. Yeah, this doesn't address it.
They hate the amateurism model.
They do.
This, when you prefaced all of this with Tommy Tuberville might have a point, I agree. I think everything in here works outside of the name. It's just the Student Athlete Act. Mm-hmm. That's not a fun acronym. It is funny to me how most of these have had fun acronyms, and that's been the most substantial thing for all of these other bills. This one feels simple and straightforward. And so you're right to tell the audience to not really expect anything because it's the federal government. Mm-hmm. But this is something I think that coaches, athletic directors, administrators, even the athletes themselves can get behind. You're always going to have kind of outliers like Chambliss. I know Virginia's quarterback's trying to get another year of eligibility. Mm-hmm. But I also think that this can double back to the coaches who I want to say, because the students can't really sign anything. Like, you can't really legal binding agreements unless you're employees. Mm-hmm. The coaches, I think, can, I don't know if, again, the teeth would have to be there. The enforcement would have to be there of what happens if you do not do that, or what happens if you try to break this. But the coaches can get behind it and sign an agreement saying we will not get into business with players that are seeking these things, that are seeking extra eligibility out of the 5, that are seeking transfers outside of that one-time transfer rule, and try to wrestle some control back from this type of standpoint, because you're not doing it from the financial side.
Mm-mm.
So real quick on the Trinidad Chambliss part of this, he's getting this extra year because the school messed up, because Ferris State messed up. That's
what they're claiming.
And that's what it seems like with everything here. That's why it's working here for him. Is it sounds like the university absolutely messed up. Somebody didn't file for it when they said they were going to, or because I even mentioned in that D2 title game that he played in, they said that he got a medical red shirt. Yeah. So everybody involved was under the assumption that he had it, and the school messed up something in the filing. I think they can get around this one-time transfer thing, saying you can have one-time transfer where you go and can play the next year. After that, if you transfer, you're going to lose a year. So I think they can get around that. And the thing is, they're still not employees in this, and the coaches are employees. So it's different. Like, these guys are signing contracts and whatever. The NIL part I love. Can we keep the universities out of it, though? Like, say, we're talking about Trinidad Chambliss. Say he comes to Ohio State, and Reichert says, we're going to give you this truck, and we're going to have you do these commercials for so long. Then if you leave, you break that contract with them, and you have to deal with them and the legal ramifications there with them. You signed a deal with them. Like, let's keep the universities out of this like it should have always been in this model. The other thing is, Bo, and I think you said this, but so it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 23 when you start. You've got 5 to play 5, correct?
Yeah.
Now, is somebody going to head to the draft, end up on a G League team, and then going to want to come back and do that again because, well, I'm within my 5, I still have another year?
Yeah, that's worth discussion. That's why I think I think in conjunction I would do an age cap.
Here's my problem.
Maybe you go, no matter what, you can't play college athletics past 24.
Here's my problem.
Maybe you put that on it.
Here's my one problem with that. There's a kid that played basketball for Oakland University this year who was 28 years old. His dad couldn't work. His mom got incarcerated, and he had to work at 18 and put his basketball dream on hold. Then the family situation got under control. He went back to school and played basketball. Now, should we be making rules for the rare minority case? Maybe not. But that's a pretty cool story with that kid.
It is. I think you got a little buddy behind you.
That was a good job out of you by just rolling through the take.
He just got mule kicked when I was done.
It's a great job of focus out of you.
Unserious human Tyvis Powell trying to bother Baker during
wrecking everything.
Doesn't he have like a Cleveland sports show to be doing right now?
Yeah, he's got to be headed northbound and down, doesn't he? He's running out of time.
He does it from here now because they changed the schedule, so he does it in another studio.
Oh, there you go. There's a win out of that then. Yeah, I think. Okay, so on the there's a lot of. That's why I said this isn't fully baked yet. It's not. But the jumping off point, I think, the fact that they didn't tie resources to it,
a good start.
It gives them a chance to do that. Bake, by the way, from what I'm reading it, because in this same Mandel piece, he reports that there was no evidence that Chambliss ever applied for a medical red shirt at Ferris State.
Well, and I think that's the school's fault. The school was supposed to do it, and they didn't. That was my understanding.
That's what his lawyer argued in court for why he got that.
Yeah, why he got it. They put it on Ferris State, and what does Ferris State care? Yeah. Yeah, I think the jumping off point of it is pretty good. And I do think that the part about when you think about the one-time transfer, I think the other thing that would do is that would bring NIL under a little bit of a yoke. And I think that is something that is going to happen in a very different way. We'll get to that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.99% APR, 6.02% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
March Madness is here again, and so is a Great Clips $12.99 haircut coupon. From dominating the bracket pool to demolishing game day snacks, Great Clips gets that March is every fan's favorite month. And with a $12.99 haircut coupon, your hair can be as ready for the action as you are. Grab a $12.99 haircut coupon now at greatclips.com/March Madness. Great Clips, official hair salon of March Madness. Valid only at participating U.S. salons. Terms apply. March Madness is a trademark of the National Collegiate Athletic Association.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, we put new windows in a Dublin home last week. You wouldn't believe how much new light was let in. Changed the entire mood of the home.
You don't need fancy windows to change the mood of a room, Leslie. Know what else will do that? Wilson's Wicks, my new candle line. Here, smell this one.
Oh, that's bad.
I call it warm tuna salad. It's not for everyone.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday. So, continuing this conversation on the Tuberville legislation and juxtaposed to some of the comments, I'm sure you guys talked about this last week with Paul, the comments from Greg Sankey about people in his operation are quite fed up with everything that's happening down there. All of this while you're getting reports from the Athletics, and we've had him on before. I think he's the SEC. I'm sorry, I want to say Southern Cal. Antonio Morales, I think is his name. Is he the Southern Cal beat guy?
That sounds right for the Athletic. We've had him on.
Yeah, we've had him on. Yeah. So he wrote a story just, I think, 2 days ago in the Athletic about the cost of a college football roster being upwards of $50 million. We're a long ways from Ohio State in 2024 somehow being shamed by a $20 million roster. And by the way, that was never the approach on this show. We were always, so what? Yeah, we can do that. We're the big bad Buckeyes. We can do whatever we want. Well, now it's upwards of $50 million for, reportedly, according to the Athletics' Antonio Morales, on what it costs to put a college football roster together for the 2026 season. So you think about that $50 million, and you think about how that number is going to go up and up and up, and then you have Sankey saying, look, this is untenable. We can't continue in this way. All the while, he's raking it in. Lane Kiffin's getting $15 million a year at LSU while paying a buyout at Ole Miss, and there's all of this money flowing around the sport, and it's all kind of out of control. There's no real sign of any of it stopping, and you say, okay, what is something we can put our arms around? You're not going to be able to put your arms around the money. But if we put the arms around the amount of times that players can transfer and leave, now, the counter to that is you almost have to find some way to limit the same thing coaches can do, and that's going to be a big problem. So I think the one-time transfer thing could be really problematic. I do think the 5 years is maybe the best thing that's coming out of this Tuberville legislation. It goes back to something that we talked about a little bit yesterday in regard to what I saw at Florida State and the amount of money that they put into resources. And you guys both said this when we talked about it, and then Austin said it when we had him on at 10:30. Well, maybe that's why they haven't been good at football, because so much of their money has gone to facilities. Great question. And potentially, maybe you're right. Maybe that is what happened. Maybe there's some grumbling down there that is the case. If you go back to conversations that Threes and I had, and this is going back 8 years now, 7 years, when this all first started to come about, what he and I said on the show over and over again is if there was ever going to be a slowing down of the NIL and the money in the sport, whether that's for players or coaches or for buyouts, it would come only from within and only from donor fatigue. That was it. That was the only place it was ever going to come from. And if you are an athletic director at a place like Ohio State, like Ross Bjork is, you have to make decisions on what is the best way to fund our money. Will Ohio State ever build a hockey-specific arena? That was certainly in the plans at one point. I don't know. Will Ohio State ever be able to do a full, proper modernization of the shoe? I don't know. Will there ever be able to make the Woody? And the Woody's great. I'm not sitting here saying like that it's substandard. It's not. It's not state of the art, but it's not substandard. Will that ever be able to be addressed in the way that they want to? I don't know. Because the same folks that are paying for that also are now having to pay $50 million for a football roster because the athletic department can't do it. Because they're not employees. They're student athletes. You see the problem? So it was always going to be self-governance, discipline from the boosters. And so what I think you will see is you will see waves of this, like the current wave at Texas Tech. They got a booster who played for Texas Tech, who's highly motivated for them to be elite in football, men's basketball, and from what I can tell, softball. That's what he wants them to be good at. And so they were. They're damn good at all three because he wrote checks for it. Will he become fatigued? I mean, he's the one who's buying all the ads that you see on your March Madness. Will he become fatigued by this at some point? Probably. There's going to be donor fatigue for all of these guys. And when that happens, maybe some of this comes back. So if you combine, and I'm not going to be arrogant enough to put a timeline on this because I have no idea when this is going to happen. But when you combine that with 5 years to play 5, theoretically, and if you could somehow get a one-time transfer in, then I think you could see this come under some sort of control. A one-time transfer would basically make players, they'd give them 2 windows to make maximum money in the recruiting process and the one time they transferred. And after that, you'd be locked into the deal that you signed. And that maybe would do it. Now, of course, the number one salve for all of this is just call it what it is. But it feels like, guys, we're so far away from that, especially when you have Sankey saying what he's saying, that my guys are sick of it and we might have to do something on our own. Those type of comments tell me that we are so far, that we're closer to what I just laid out than the overall fix would just be professionalization of college athletics.
Yeah, I think the phrase never say never does not apply to the crowd that wants to make these athletes employees, or that ever wants to come and collectively bargain anything, or anything in that realm is just not going to happen, and they will fight and claw. It won't be wrestled from them.
No.
This makes the thing I keep running against is the coaches, because with my limited knowledge of the law, if a coach has unlimited autonomy to just bolt or to just be fired, or if a coach can do anything at any time that they want to, then how can you reasonably limit a player and think it won't come back to bite you? Because I wonder, with a lot of these, and the Student Athlete Act that Tuberville's suggesting does seem to be the only time they've really thought about lawsuits. Because I think it's trying to do the best it possibly can to mitigate litigation. The rest of them just agree. No, we're going to establish these things and it's going to be totally fine and you're all going to love it. And then when lawmakers get their hands on it and get to actually take a look and read through it, they go, this isn't it. And then if anything that's previously been or tried to be a rule, they just taken it to the highest court in the land, and you get guys, Brett Kavanaugh writing 3 pages on why it sucks.
Yeah,
like Joshua and I yesterday or last week were just laughing about billable hours for the NCAA remains the best job in America.
Gosh.
If you are either representing them or representing somebody going up against them, you don't have to worry about AI taking your job because it's always going to be an avenue for you. You just got to be smart enough to be a lawyer, and
that's pretty limited. Pretty good career advice for the boys. Like, you want to go into law, go into defending the NCAA.
I think what you would need to do in this, right, is write up your proposal, your bylaws, all of this, then put it in front of government officials and say, have them look at this and say, what's legal, what's not legal, what can we have that can keep this? And then maybe you could say there's no lawsuits against it. This is the way it is. This is in law. This is in writing. And then we go from here.
What you're describing is collectively bargained. I mean, that's basically the NFL. I mean, the NFL says, we will not draft you into our league unless you are 3 years removed from high school football. We will not, you're not eligible unless that. And Maurice Clarett did win.
Yep.
He did. I mean, people forget that. He did win. But that is professional sports. There are rules. There are owners. These are the rules. We all abide by them. You don't see the NFL sued that often for these type of things. Now, they have work stoppages because that happens, because things are collectively bargained. And so that would be a part of it. But short of that, there's a couple of things in here that give you some faith. Now, last thing to put a ribbon on this. I have no earthly clue who is going to represent and be the forward face of the Big Ten in any of this. I don't know if it will be Tony Petitti. His stock, which was a rocket ship about 18 months ago, has wavered. I don't know what type of power he has over the sport. I think the botched private equity play that he tried to orchestrate that fell flat on his face leaves him pretty neutered. For the longest time, I thought it would be Ted Carter at the front of it, certainly, with Ross Bjork right next to him. Ross still can be.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. So I don't know who's fronting this for the Big Ten right now. I don't know who's the most powerful voice in the Big Ten. I'm asking. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Michigan just had a change of power at the top of their university. I mean, their athletic department's in shambles, despite having two teams in the Final Four in hockey and basketball. But in terms of everything that's happened there over the last 4 or 5 years, who's leading this conference through all this?
Feels like the best option would be Ryan Day and Ross Bjork.
I think you're probably right, but they got their own problems. Yeah. You know? I mean, you need to have... I don't know who that is. Is it Phil Knight?
The funny thing is with that is we're still looking at it from a football-only perspective.
Yeah.
Where that probably crushes some of the other sports and the other things in the conference and all of that, but it's kind of why football needs to break off and be its own entity, but...
That's a different discussion. Can Tuberville work on that one, too?
We give him a lot of credit here on the program, something I never thought I would do.
This is a good idea, though, what he's got.
I think it is.
With limited antitrust exemption for just transfer rules and not for financials.
It's a good start.
The best argument I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Of all the things that I've read on this from Capitol Hill lawmakers, like something with real teeth that's realistic, this one has a little of it. So give credit where it's due. Credit's where it's due on the building of the Buckeye basketball roster. One big returnee announced yesterday, waiting on another one. Meantime, the women's Final Four is set. The night in sports, including, I was locked into this one from start to finish. Reese's Guards putting it on my Dodgers in a big, big way out west at Chavez Ravine. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at all 4 Coghlan Kia locations. Get 0% plus no payments for 90 days on select new Kia Sorentos, Sportages, and Tellurides. Or buy a new 2026 Kia K4 for $279 a month. Visit CoglanKia.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
0% APR available for 48 months on select in-stock units. 90-day deferred payments. Buy for $279 per month for 84 months at 5.99% APR with approved credit through Kia Finance. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Remember your first football game? The sound of the crowd, the smell of the grill, the moment you fell in love with the game. This spring break, pass that moment on. At the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, families walk through the greatest moments in football history and create new memories of their own. See the legends, experience the history, share the game you love. Make the Hall of Fame part of your spring break road trip. Plan your visit today at ProFootballHof.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Morning Juice is now on YouTube weekday mornings starting at 6. If you're a fan of Bobby Carpenter, he's ready to attack and dominate. If you're a fan of Jeff Goodoff, drive directly to a hospital. Seriously. The Fan.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When your drain is clogged, our drain team will clear it for just $93.
If we can't clear it, it's free.
And we guarantee it will stay clear for at least a year, or we'll clear it again for free. Get Eco.
ECO.
Go to geteco.com.
Day one, the hardest day. The day you hear,
this is a type of blood cancer.
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hey guys, when it comes to making a big decision like, the ring, you don't wing it. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Cellar. For nearly 80 years, their family has helped generations of couples celebrate life's biggest moments with exceptional quality, larger diamonds, and better value. And guys, here's the very best part. They're going to walk you through it step by step. You know you're getting it right. There's no pressure. They will find what is right for you. So whether you're ready to propose or ready to upgrade, visit Diamond Cellar, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center. Learn more at diamondcellar.com. Tell them Bo sent you. They'll take care of you. I assure you of that. Amare Bynum, I don't think that any of this is a coincidence. I think we laid this out pretty accurately for you yesterday in regard to the Devin Royal news that he was entering the portal, that the corresponding move would be Amare Bynum locks back in. We're waiting on Junie. But I don't think there's anything to be concerned about there. I think, Junie and Bynum are going to be kind of the fulcrum of this thing, and then they're going to have to portal it at point guard and portal it probably at center, and then Anthony Thompson, who plays the McDonald's All-American game tonight. Get a look at him. I mean, I've seen him play in person a handful of times. The boys did a little clinic with him last fall. Really cool kid, soft-spoken kid, 6'9". He can get his shot off anytime he wants. Body-wise, it probably needs to add a little bit of muscle to it, but in terms of as soon as you see him, you're going to be like, oh, I get it. Like, this is a guy who can flat out shoot it. He's got incredible wingspan. And the reality is that him and Bynum are going to be the two forwards that are going to get the minutes. So it wasn't just a monetary thing for Devin. It was also a minutes thing. And just where were those minutes going to be? And you don't bring in somebody like Thompson not to play. So Thompson, Bynum, Mobley, pretty good core starting to develop there. Veteran point guard going to need to be landed in the portal. They need a floor general to come in and play point guard, and then they need a big who can shot block a little bit. That's kind of what the recipe is, I think, for this team, and as Jake goes to build it over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a proper roster allocation.
Yeah.
When you talk about what you're going to give Bynum a raise because he earned it with his play last season. Anthony Thompson's going to demand what the market for a 5-star top prospect would, and so that's how you allocate. And if I'd said this, if Royal came to the coaching staff and said, I wanted a raise, you couldn't offer it to him.
No.
Because to your point, you got to have a one. Like, I was thinking about Gabe Cupps and the allocation for him. I don't think you could pay anybody less in this day and age, but I do think Cupps is an important piece to retain because he can come off the bench and lead your offense. Is it the best spot you want to be in if you're Ohio State? Probably not, but the roster looking the way it does is going to require a big swing and an incredible cannot miss on the floor general you bring in to be your starting one. And so I think it's amicable for both sides, for Royal and his minutes, and Royal and maybe an opportunity presents himself out there to get a raise, but you have a certain amount of money allocated, and you got to probably use a bigger chunk than you would like to on your starting point guard from the portal.
I'm okay with Gabe Cupps being here next year. You can't give him any more money, though.
Right.
Like, you got your money, dude, to come here. That's That's enough. Like, he's not somebody that I'm going to fret over if he's here or not. The three you mentioned, Bo, are great. Let's not forget the strides Tayson Chapman made. Hopefully he's still on this roster and can be a piece. I don't know if he'll be a starter. There's a chance that could be.
I don't think ideally that he is.
Probably not ideally, but again, maybe another year of health. We see another step from him. Josh Ojonwuna is a guy that didn't play this year, but you got from Baylor last year, who is a pretty defensive-minded center that could help you in the paint a little bit and hopefully with rebounding. Let's not forget Alex Smith, too, who's coming in this class.
UA
the
kid
kid that was at Upper Arlington and then transferred this year to Prolific Prep, which I believe is at the same school that Darren Peterson went to. It just switched from Vegas to Florida.
They just moved states.
I think
year.
Peterson's was in, and there could be multiple. Knowing the AAU circuit, like Prolific Prep might be in 6 states. I mean, like that's possible too. But Darren's was in California, wasn't it?
It was either California or Vegas, one of the two. And then they moved their operations to Florida this year, and that's where Alex Smith went. But Alex Smith is a kid who is 6'9", doesn't give you the height that a Christoph Tilley did, but kind of a similar game, kind of a slasher for 6'9", not the biggest guy. So he's a guy that can help out on the wing, too. You do see pieces here. If Anthony Thompson is what we think he's going to be, there are pieces here to have a really nice roster next year before you add anything out of the portal.
Yeah. Whether it's Cups, Chambliss, the guys you mentioned, you need role players because you need a roster. So they have to have those guys to fill it out. And then the rest of the allocation is fascinating. I would bet anything that they are maybe not the biggest game hunting for a point guard. So if the biggest game hunting is, bull moose, they're muley deer hunting. They're whitetail deer hunting. Big buck, point guard. That's what they need. And then they need a shot blocking 5. I mean, those are the two things that they need. They need a rim protector in some way. Everything else kind of falls into place. You get those things, and now you have the makings of something. But those are going to be the way that I think they hunt in this thing. The women's Final Four got set last night. Well, how do you make sense of the fact that it's 4 ones and none of them were tested? There is not a single of the 4 teams playing in the Final Four. There's not a single one that played a game in their run to the Final Four that was a game decided by single digits. Not one. The regional finals last night, South Carolina beat TCU 78-52. Texas beat Michigan 77-41. The other regional finals that took place on Sunday, UCLA over Duke 70-58, and UConn over Notre Dame 70-52. In fact, the closest game any of them played in their entire run to the Final Four was UCLA winning by 12. How has parity not hit the women's game at all? So anytime somebody says, like, whether it's, the Buckeye women's program or whoever, they're a 2 seed, they're a 3 seed. The gap between that and the ones is the Grand Canyon. There is no parity in the women's game at all. It's 4 ones in the final. The closest game any of them played was a 12-point game.
I'd have to go back and look over history, but I feel like that's how it's always been.
It is.
You've had
that's
your
what's amazing.
UConns, your Tennessees, your South Carolinas, your LSUs that have just kind of dominated this sport. Eventually, sometimes you would have somebody else hop in there or a 2 that would jump in. That's one of the things that has kind of plagued Ohio State women's basketball here in the past few years is they've been really good, but they're not to that upper echelon yet.
No.
So they're not, when they play the top 10 teams, a lot of times they fall. They're beat everybody else, beat the people they should. They've been really good, but they're just not quite there yet.
I just think on the one side, South Carolina and UConn are standards. And I think the coaching and the development, you also have it like Lauren Betts is UCLA's best player probably, and she's been a UCLA Bruin her entire career. So I don't think the transfer portal has affected women's college hoops as insanely as it has for men's college hoops. But I just think the coaching and the development at the top becomes like there's a chasm between Gino, Dawn, and the rest of the field.
I think you're right. And it's just amazing that it's been largely, I think you're both right, largely unaffected by portal or NIL or any of it. Like the one line, and this year it's UCLA and Texas. Years past, it's been LSU. It's been other teams that have been on that line. It's been Duke. Maryland won a national championship years ago. But like the standards are the standards, and they stay.
I wonder if it's too because they're not going pro early.
Could be.
So you
got to keep them.
You get this star and you get her for 4 years, and then you keep getting other players because the best players like to go to those schools, and that's what I would think it is. Because Lauren Betts has been at UCLA for 3 years now, and knocking on this door, and they're finally right there.
That could be. I'm sure that contributes as well. Sure, certainly. All right, second hour of the program, we kick it off with The Real Truth. Will Caleb Downs be the second Buckeye off the board? We get to that, among other things, coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Colin Man here for Jermaine. Everybody's talking about affordability when buying a car these days, but the truth is, GoJermaine.com has a great selection of affordable inventory. Maybe that tax return's going to hit your mailbox pretty soon. Well, go see my friends because they have 300 new cars under 30 grand, over 300 used cars under 20 grand, and it's only at GoJermaine.com. And along with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Get started at GoJermaine.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
It's Timmy Hall here with Gordon Miller, founder of Miller Lending. Now, Gordon, I remember hearing of your no-cost mortgages back in 2008 when I was on the air in Raleigh-Durham. So what brings you to Central Ohio?
Hey, Tim. Small world, isn't it? But we saw Columbus as the perfect market to offer our no-closing cost mortgage product. With a growing population and relocations, it was similar to our original decision to expand into Raleigh back in '96.
Well, I got to see firsthand how well it worked in Carolina. So how about explaining to our listeners how it truly has no closing cost associated?
That's right, Tim. Way back in 1987, I found a way to do mortgages without using the standard method of buying the rate down with thousands of dollars in various costs. Rates were volatile, much like they are today. And folks were stuck at higher rates because it simply cost too much to refinance. There had to be a better way, and we think we found it.
That was Gordon Miller, founder of Miller Lending, the home of the no-cost loan. Give him a call, 877-9-NO-COST, or online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2502146.
Coffee, iced cap, refreshers. Tim Hortons has all your favorite beverages. And now you can get your favorite bite for less. When you buy any size beverage, add a baked daily donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. So next time you order your favorite Tim's beverage, add something that satisfies your cravings and your wallet. The $1, $2, $3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply.
Don't let a failing sump pump put your home at risk. Right now, get $80 off sump pump replacement with Logan Services. Protect your basement from flooding and get the peace of mind you deserve. Call now. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
At St. Jude, every innovation we make is a moment we give to children with cancer everywhere. But we can't do it without you.
Learn more at stjude.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. It's a busy Tuesday in the Arena District. The Columbus Blue Jackets look to halt a 3-game slide hosting the Carolina Hurricanes at 7:30. You can hear it on the Fan with coverage at 7. Jackets enter the week in the second wildcard spot in the East. Columbus is 1 point back of New York for the third spot in the Metropolitan. The Islanders were smothered by the Penguins Monday 8-2. Just 7 games remain for the CBJ. Columbus will skate in Carolina on Thursday. In baseball tonight, it's the home opener for the Clippers at Huntington Park. Columbus hosts Indianapolis at 6:15 for the first Dime-a-Dog night of the season. In the majors last night, the Guardians beat the Dodgers 4-2 in L.A. The Reds blanked the Pirates 2-0 in Cincinnati. In college football, Ohio State resumes spring practice today. OSU's Ryan Day will speak with the media this morning around 11. We'll carry his comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. This update is sponsored by Eco Plumbers. Get $500 in free plumbing repairs when you buy a new water heater. Visit geteco.com and book today.
The best facial hair on the air. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour on Tuesday. Tuesdays with Tiberi coming up in 28 minutes from now. Time now for The Real Truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years.
Caleb Downs will be the second Buckeye off the board in next month's NFL draft. Is that the real truth?
So what got me thinking about this was Matt Miller at ESPN put together, and by the way, can you imagine this task? He did a full 7-round mock. Full. The undertaking. I mean, just sit down and draft 1 through 32, 7 rounds for every team and try to make it make sense for. So just the undertaking of that, I just got massive respect for, even if it's utter nonsense.
Do you think he takes a break to blast some blocks?
If he does, he'll never finish. Never finish the job.
Doesn't Brugler do this too? Doesn't he have one coming shortly?
He does. And he also puts out the Beast, which is basically every player who could ever be drafted, a full breakdown of all of them. So Matt Miller put together his. By the way, I'm getting the shakes that I haven't played it in an hour, 2 hours.
Get your fix. I can see it there.
It's just staring right there. I wonder if I could do the show while block blasting. I might be able to. I got to get this done. There's a timeline. I got an hour. Like
Have you made any progress during the show on what the picture is?
I think it's Van Gogh.
Ooh.
We're on level 54. Yeah, it looks like there's an ear on one side, not on the other. So I'm pretty sure.
It's Van Gogh portrait. Okay.
I think it's a portrait of Van Gogh.
Do you think Maryhaven has a wing for this?
They might have a whole building dedicated to
it. If I can get 4 more right, then I can skip a level. Is what it's telling me.
I'll tell you what.
Consecutive right without a mess up. I'm on level 43. It looks like I'm halfway home.
The Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam must go when you're in that city, if you're in that city.
Yeah, I think I'm going to probably knock that city out at some point.
You should.
He always, as a kid, did you guys have to do like choir as kids? Like when you were little?
I did band.
Yeah. So at a small school, you had to, there's a musical requirement. Now they were equal opportunity. Every day we had gym and we had music. When I was like in elementary school, we had both. I don't know what the hell they taught us in terms of the other classes, but we had 2 hours a day that were guaranteed to music and physical activity. And one of the songs we had to sing was Starry, Starry Night. You guys familiar with that song?
No.
Oh, my God. It's obviously based on the Van Gogh painting, one of the more famous paintings in the world. just creeped me out. Like the idea that he sawed off his own ear. Just really creeped me out, man. I couldn't shake it. When I was little, I'd have nightmares of Van Gogh. Where were we? Oh, yeah, Matt Miller draft. Caleb Downs, second Buckeye off the board. He has him as the second Buckeye off the board to the New York Giants at 5. I do think this is the real truth. I do believe that it is. I think that by the time we get to the draft, which is about a month away, sanity will prevail. Much of the combine stuff that was in vogue a month ago will be washed away, and common sense will prevail. And I do think Arvell Reese is going to be the first Buckeye off the board. I did think it was funny how there was all this big concern about bend after pro day at Ohio State. Like, does he have the right bend? Bob eviscerated that, which made me laugh. I did enjoy that. Louis Riddick as well. So I think Arvell will probably go to the Jets at 2. And I do think that what will happen if you are the New York Giants, hell, if you're the Cleveland Browns, and it's just like, let's just do the sure thing. And I think Caleb Downs is the sure thing. And I do think that it could happen at 4 to the Titans. It could happen at 5 to the Giants. I mean, hell, it could happen to Arizona at 3. Like, sometimes you just need to have a building block. And I do think that this is the real truth, that he'll end up being the second off the board.
I think it is the real truth. I think the real truth is he should be the first Buckeye off the board. He's the best player.
Yeah.
And just go get the best player. And if you draft Caleb Downs, if you're the New York Jets and you draft Caleb Downs at number 2, I guarantee you in 15 years you are not going to be regretting that pick.
Yeah, I think
you're going to be very happy with who you picked. I get Arvell Reese plays a more impact position, so to say. So I do think he is going to go number 1 or number 2 to the Jets. He'll be the first Buckeye off the board. Joshua Perry was talking about being at Pro Day and seeing John Harbaugh.
Yep.
And how much time he spent around Caleb Downs. And how he seemed to kind of light up. And then hearing some of his comments about Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way Caleb Downs gets past the Giants at 5. I think they are taking him. If he is there on the board, and there's no guarantee that somebody wouldn't take him before, but if he's on the board at 5, that's the pick for the New York Giants.
Yeah, to buttress that point, so John Harbaugh, Giants head coach, still weird, was on with the Sports Pope and said he sees Caleb Downs a future Hall of Famer.
Okay. And what's the other thing that John Harbaugh knows a little bit about? Safeties. Kyle Hamilton, Ed Reed. So he knows the value of it. So, yeah, I think this will actually hold up.
The Buckeyes will have 4 players drafted in the top 10 of next month's NFL draft. Is that the real truth?
Yeah, I think this will hold up too. I think Carnell Tate's going 6 to the Browns, and I think that's very much in play. And I think Sonny Miller has him 10 to the Bengals. I think that he will find his way in here too. He's the one that I think could drop after the big combine. Some of that noise, though, pay very little attention to. It's just buzz coming out of the combine, which led him to elevate on draft boards, and then he obviously didn't participate in Pro Day. But the teams already know all of that stuff. They know what he's all about. But I do think all 4 will go in the top 10.
I think so, too, because I think if Carnell Tate is there at 6, I think the Browns are sprinting to the podium to make that pick. And if Sonny Styles is there at 10, I think the same thing. I think the Bengals are sprinting to that podium. I'm not so sure, though, that the Commanders wouldn't draft him. Maybe the Chiefs. Yeah. And I wonder if the Dallas Cowboys would trade up to make sure they got him. If they're like, I'm not sure he's getting to 12, they're not. They may hop up in front of the Bengals to try to get Sonny Styles.
That would be a dance partner that I think Cleveland would be entertaining, with Cleveland at 6. Cleveland goes back to 12, picks up a second rounder for moving up 6 spots, maybe in next year's draft. I could see that.
Is this know the scores?
No. No. There are no scores. There are no scores. Just know Andrew Berry and know draft capital and know the way that he kind of uses it. Loves it. So, like, if you drop 6 spots and it nets you another 2 in 2027, because no one's given up 1s in 2027, there's none of that. That's going to happen. Everybody knows how good that draft is. So, I could see a situation where if you pick up a 2 in 2027 and you still have 2 first-round picks this year, that there could be some value there for them if Dallas is the team, because Dallas has 2 1s.
I was just about to say Andrew Berry is to draft capital like Bo Bishop is to block blast. Is that the real truth?
It is right now. It's staring at me. Level 43. If I get this one done, I basically have his mouth finished, so that seems like that's an important
I just saw
line of demarcation.
That Chappelle meme. He's got the powder all over his face.
I'm Tony Montana
Got any
lifting
blocks?
my head from the piles of cocaine.
You got any more of them blocks, man?
Give me more. Got to get these blocks lined up.
Speaking of the Browns, they will not draft a quarterback, but will add one before training camp. Is that the real truth?
I think part of it is, and part of it, what's the way to phrase this? One of these things will happen. They will have four quarterbacks in camp. I don't know that they're all four going to compete for the job, and we can talk about that in just a second. But I do think that they will have four quarterbacks. Whether they draft one that they like and want to get in the system, or if they add one via free agency to add another one in that room, I think that there will be four quarterbacks in that room. I do.
I don't think this is the real truth because I think they're drafting one. And I'm not saying I like this or want this, but I can see a certain former Penn State quarterback that's from Cleveland in like the 5th or 6th round going to Cleveland. Because if you remember, before last year's draft, there were people saying that if that quarterback was in the draft, Cleveland would take him at number 2. So there is obviously some familiarity and like there with that quarterback. And if you can get him in the 5th round of this year's draft, I could see them really liking that.
So that was utter nonsense that they would have picked him at 2.
I understand.
The one thing I will say, though, is I do think, not necessarily with Aller, and good Lord, I could be proven wrong. They went defensive tackle and off-ball linebacker last year, and I didn't see either one of those things happening. That's why I say, there are no scores when it comes to the Browns draft board. There just aren't. But I do think that they will draft for type, and I think what Todd Monken wants is quarterbacks who have mobility. I think that's what he wants. And I think he's got a lot of voice in the roster build up there. And so I would think that that would be something he would look for. So if you're looking for potential draftable asset quarterbacks for the Browns, think about guys who have a little bit of mobility to them. And I'm guessing that will lead segue very well into our next topic, which is, so Deshaun Watson. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And are you tired of windows so drafty that your curtains blow in the wind even after you shut your windows?
Sounds like a problem, Wilson.
It's why at the other window place, we now offer curtain tie-downs.
Wouldn't just great non-drafty windows be the answer?
And tank the entire curtain tie-down market?
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.99% APR, 6.02% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Anthony. By now you know my good feet story, but the point I try to get across is that it's an ongoing one for me. For as long as I can remember, it's always been about my lower back. But when I got fitted for my personal arch supports, it's been an absolute game changer. I feel better. They take all the stress off my back. I feel supported and aligned, and you don't hear me complain about it the way I used to. I could feel the difference instantly, and I didn't have to wait to feel that difference. Once I got fitted, popped them in my shoes, took the test walk around the store, and now on a daily basis, everything feels better. And that's what I mean about an ongoing story. This journey to feeling my pain disappear makes everything better. You can make an appointment online or just stop into the Good Feet store in Grove City or the one on Polaris Parkway in Westerville, and their experts will personally fit you. Then do what I did. Take a test walk around, and you will feel the difference. Do your feet a favor. Get started at goodfeet.com.
The new Chicken and Cheddar Rancher is here at Firehouse Subs. Protein packed with grilled chicken breast, crispy bacon, melted cheddar, and creamy buttermilk ranch. A trusted favorite elevated Firehouse Subs style. Grab the new Chicken and Cheddar Rancher today. And remember, Firehouse Subs catering is perfect to feed your team for any game day event. Visit the restaurant or skip the line and order through the Firehouse Subs app. You'll be thankful you did. Only at Firehouse Subs at participating U.S. restaurants.
Common Man has hosted shows with radio royalty, Spielman, Tor, T-Bone, just to name a few. So listen to his new show with Timmy Hall. If man can pull this one off, he's a miracle worker. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see partly cloudy skies and very windy conditions here for today, with winds gusting up to near 40 miles per hour. It will also be quite warm with highs around 80 degrees this afternoon. And then showers and storms arriving here for tonight with lows down to 63. We'll see more showers and a few storms here on Wednesday with highs in the 60s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and we are proudly brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for nearly 8 decades. They're the best. They'll take care of you. I assure you of that. NFL owners meetings, I don't know. So I was talking to Andrew Siciliano, voice of the Browns. You hear them right here on The Fan. I was talking to him yesterday. I'm like, why are coaches at this thing? Why are they there? It's the NFL owners meeting. What are they? They're there to take a picture that Sean McVay and Todd Monken both missed. Apparently they changed the time of the photo at like the last minute. It was set at like noon, and then they just decided to do it after the coaches meeting. And Siciliano said, look, like, it's a chance for them all to get together, and it's more of like a family environment. So like they bring like their families, and like the coaches will like sit at the pool at the Arizona Biltmore and just kind of talk about the sport and those type of things. But it's kind of a strange thing that, I mean, these are the owner meetings, but GMs are there and coaches are there. And so it's the very high end of the NFL. You actually get a lot of good stuff that comes from it, including the conversation yesterday. Browns ownership, Jimmy Haslam, believes it's possible for Deshaun Watson to go from a swing and a miss to a home run if he starts this year. Yeah, it is absolutely possible that could be the case. This was buttressed, or rather, this was followed up, conversations that Andrew Berry had with the media on Saturday. Let's hear from the Browns GM. Let's start with the open quarterback competition that's coming.
As we sit here on, March 29th, and nobody has touched the grass. Nobody has really worked with our coaching staff. Like, I wouldn't handicap it for anyone. I think everyone in that room deserves opportunity. And so we'll certainly know a lot more as we get to the spring. We'll know even more as we get to camp. But I think, honestly, we wouldn't be doing the right thing for the team. We wouldn't be doing the right thing for that position if we didn't go in with it eyes wide open. So
Andrew was obviously there last year when they had, a lot of attention was given to this idea of a four-headed quarterback competition, but it really wasn't a four-headed quarterback competition. It was Kenny Pickett was brought there to start. Kenny Pickett got hurt. Joe Flacco was not going to lose an honest quarterback competition to a rookie, either one of them, Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel was more prepared early to play sooner than Shedeur was. And so that's the way that it broke. It really wasn't a 4-person. You can't do a 4-person quarterback competition in the NFL. There's not enough reps to go around to truly do that. There are people who are going to take the lead. That lead will be taken in minicamp, and then away that you go. And so I'm guessing you will hear talk of Dylan, Shedeur, and Deshaun, and let's just say that the room stays at that point. The reality is that it's probably going to be Shedeur and Deshaun. Is probably the way that's going to go, and that's probably surprising to a lot of folks out there. Andrew Berry was quick to point out that the decision on who's going to play quarterback will be performance-based only. Here he is on that.
Yeah, I think we're probably just more focused on performance in best players. Certainly time horizon factors into that, but just of any veteran player, there's no rule against extending the player's contract if they perform and they do well. So I wouldn't necessarily box it into any one approach. It really will be performance-based.
This is what I would tell you. Whether it's Shedeur or Deshaun or Dylan, they are all viewed as lottery picks, lottery tickets. They all are. At this point, you've already paid Deshaun the lion's share of the finances. Everybody knows that if they are going to get out of that contract and out of that situation, the soonest they can do it is next summer. That's the soonest that they can do it. That's as quick as it can happen. With Shedeur Sanders, he's a 5th-round pick who gave you flashes of talent, there's no doubt, but at times looked very much like a rookie. Dylan Gabriel was drafted in the 3rd round to be the long-term backup and potentially to be a Case Keenum type, who could come in and start if you have injury, those type of things. That's the circumstances that you're in. So the reality is that if it truly is Shedeur and Deshaun, that is a competition that will be based on, are either of these guys lottery tickets to get us out of this quarterback malaise that we're in? That's what Deshaun was acquired all those years ago to be that. We haven't seen him playing forever. I mean, he hasn't played healthy. His is, I think, much longer odds just because we haven't seen him be healthy and play in such a long time. We've seen Shedeur play. By the way, changed his number back to number 2. So that's the way that I think this thing is going to go over the next month, is like that. And so I do take Jimmy Haslam at his word that of course Deshaun Watson go from a swing and a miss to a home run. If he starts and he plays well and he finds what he found and what he was before all of this went down and the injuries and all of it, then you have a guy who at one time led the NFL in passing. But that's a long time ago now. And so that's why I think despite the financial, the decision that they make will not be financially motivated at all. It'll be entirely performance based on, and are one of these guys a lottery ticket? In a way, despite them having almost nothing in common, I think they're going to be viewed the same by Todd Monken.
Yeah, he's a new head coach who wants to win. Like that, I think has to take precedent. And I appreciate Jimmy using some baseball analogies there. But let's just maybe do a, on-base hit. Like a single or a double. We're not trying to go from swing and a miss to a home run right away. This isn't something that I think anybody saw coming the last, 2 years for the Cleveland Browns. But the situation that they are in now, I think reasonably dictates that the 3 guys you have start off on equal footing, go into camp, equal footing. My hope is if you take Carnell Tate at 6, you've given another weapon to help with that quarterback evaluation. You've done a good enough job drafting last year. You've done a good enough job in free agency to really help give your quarterback, I think, a true evaluation in camp to put out the guy who gives you the best chance to win, because that's all Todd Monken wants to do right now. There's no trying to make the owner look good. There's no trying to make Andrew Berry and the decision made to acquire Deshaun Watson look good. Like, none of that matters anymore. And so I do think it'll be a little bit difficult of a time for Browns fans to separate from because of how awful this experience has been for them with Watson on the roster. Now it has to just be, I think, as best as humanly possible viewed from a Monken's got to win. Monken's got to get the best quarterback play up as possible, whomever that might be. That could very well be Dylan Gabriel if he performs best at camp. I think he's kind of on an island, as like an also-ran. It feels more 2-person quarterback situation, Watson or Shedeur, but who knows at this point, really, because they haven't touched grass.
It is interesting to me that Dylan Gabriel is just an afterthought in everybody's talks about this. There's to me And we don't know who this fourth person is going to be in the room if they bring a fourth person in. Andrew Berry says, though, they're not bringing anybody in who's not going to compete for the starter's job. That's very tough, as you said, Bo, because there's not enough reps for 4 guys. But to me, this really feels like Deshaun Watson is your quarterback 1 to start the season, because Shedeur showed flashes, but there's still a lot of warts there. Dylan Gabriel's ceiling is just so low, and who knows who that other person is going to be. And we haven't seen Deshaun Watson play football healthy in a long time. Mm-hmm. It sure feels like to me, though, that this is Deshaun Watson's job right now. Maybe I'm naive in this. I don't see any other way.
Well, remember what I just said in The Real Truth about the type of quarterback that Todd Monken wants. He wants mobility. Shedeur has some escapability. He's a crafty runner. He keeps his eyes downfield. He's probably best. When you think about what Shedeur is best at, it's probably in chaos. He's pretty good in chaos. He's pretty good when he gets flush from the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield. He's not afraid at all to throw the ball down the field, to put air under it. What he struggles with at times is the structure. That's where some of the struggle comes, where he doesn't see things, those type of things. That'll come with more experience, certainly. But in terms of what he does well, he's pretty dang good out of structure. So, I mean, he has that to him, but he does not have that in the way that a healthy Deshaun Watson has it. Now, I don't know how healthy Deshaun Watson can be. He's torn Achilles twice in the last 18 months. He's got a litany of injuries, shoulders and everything else. And he's now, how old is he? And he's got to be 29? Maybe he's 30 now?
I think that's right.
Yeah. So who knows physically what he's able to do? But also remember this about football coaches. Whether it's Todd Monken, Ryan Day, John Harbaugh, whoever it is. You don't get to that point unless you have an incredible amount of self-confidence. Belief in what you can get out of somebody. And if you're Todd Monken and you know the pound of clay that Deshaun Watson is, and you just had Lamar, and at one point those two were, from a viewed around the league, very similar from a talent standpoint. Obviously, that's a long time ago. I get it. But it's the old Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. More like 1 in a million. Well, you're saying there's a chance.
Deshaun Watson, 30, by the way, will be 31 the second week of the season.
Yeah. So that's the way I would read all of that. Tuesdays with Tiberi in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
March Madness is here again, and so is a Great Clips $12.99 haircut coupon. From dominating the bracket pool to demolishing game day snacks, Great Clips gets that March is every fan's favorite month. And with a $12.99 haircut coupon, your hair can be as ready for the action as you are. Grab a $12.99 haircut coupon now at greatclips.com/March Madness. Great Clips, official hair salon of March Madness. Valid only at participating U.S. salons. Terms apply. March Madness is a trademark of the National Collegiate Athletic Association.
Mortgage rates have dropped, and the best news is they're expected to go down even more. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. If you've been thinking about buying a new home, now is the time. And with Third Federal's Buy Now, Refi Later program, you don't have to wait for rates to drop again. You get the guaranteed lowest rate now, and if rates drop later, even after you close, you can refinance to a lower rate for free. That's right, for free. And now with Third Federal's early rate lock, you can lock in the guaranteed lowest rate even before you find a house. So you'll always have the best rate. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today and lock in the guaranteed lowest rate.
Right now at Third Federal, lock in 5.99% APR 6.02% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage and refinance later if rates go down for free. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for buy now, refi later. Lowest rate guarantee and early rate lock at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Green & Sons. Find your next Kubota tractor at Green & Sons, located in Mount Sterling and north of Marysville, and online at greenandsons.com.
45 years?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Crazy. And I'll tell you what, I was thinking about the 45 years, and you know as well as I do, we've had a fun run, It's me and you in particular.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, some of my favorite times, I think my favorite was that run we had going to the Final Four with Ohio State. And
yeah,
we started in Pittsburgh, and we went to Boston, and then we went to New Orleans, and it was just a magical run. And those are I'll say this now because I'm near the end. We would have done this for free. It was so much fun.
It was.
And in some cases, we did do it free. You know?
I was going to say, your paychecks are always a little bigger than mine. But yeah, I mean, at times I felt like I was doing it for free. I was. How many, have you thought about this? Like, how many people, because I say this a long time, often when I talk about like coaching, and I'm like, there will never be like another Paterno Bowden like 40-year situation. Oh, are we okay? We're good? Do we have Dami?
I'm there. You here?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, the phone was jacked up for a minute.
It really was.
I'm over at the Woody.
That was like the start to Friday Night Lights or something like that is what that sounded like.
Oh, my goodness.
There will never be another you. And I don't just mean that from a personality standpoint and all the things that you bring to the job. There will never be somebody who gets employed in their 20s and works at one operation for their entire life. You're going to be the last of it. There aren't many of you left in that business, and we'll never see another one. You're the last of that group, buddy.
Well, it's become a gypsy's life. It certainly has. And, you know, and the industry's changed so much, but I'll tell you what, I think about what we did and what we had, and it's just been it's been a labor of love, you know. I mean, it really doesn't feel like 45 years. I still think I'm a 19-year-old kid in my head. I'm thinking about, I think about the way we innovated stuff, you and we were so far ahead of the time, like with what we were doing on Facebook. I'll never forget, just us clowning around and everything. And now everybody's doing that kind of stuff. And it was fun. And, it all started with the Wolf family and the everything that, they brought to our city and meant to our city. And they loved us. They took care of us. And then, Gene D'Angelo, who gave me the shot. But it's been a labor of love. And it just, it doesn't feel like it's been 45 years. In my head, I'm still, a kid, but my body says differently. The kids loved it on my birthday because I turned 6'7", and I was walking around being the cool grandpa going 6'7", But
Who was
it was great.
It still is. Who was the first news director that let you be you?
Larry Meisel.
Larry
That's
was
the guy that hired me. He put me on the air as an intern. He said, "Hey, you're actually pretty good. We're gonna," I started March 30th, 1981. Two major news events happened that day. Ronald Reagan got shot, and then that night they almost didn't play the game. Bob Knight and Indiana Hoosiers beat Dean Smith in North Carolina, Isaiah Thomas, to win the national title. And that was my first day in the news business. We had typewriters back then, and I remember sitting in the newsroom. And just this nervous kid, I just turned 22, just came back from Daytona Beach, Florida, in spring break. Didn't know nothing. I was an idiot. And I remember just sitting there scared to death with all these legends I grew up watching. And then the ticker tape machine started going off, bells and whistles. And they had the assignment desk. They called it the Starship back then. And there was a speaker, and it said, "This is CBS News in New York. We're breaking into live coverage. there's been an attempt on President Reagan's life. That was my first day in the news business, and it's, I just was like, holy smokes, look at this. And then, I think about some of the things that, we got to cover along the way. I mean, I was in Oakland when the Reds swept the A's. I was in Vegas when Buster Douglas fought Evander Holyfield, covered all the national championship games for Ohio State football, Final Fours. You and I, we made that run. Hogan and I made the run to St. Pete when Jim O'Brien went to the Final Four. I mean, it's just been, I drove in a horse race against George Steinbrenner. I mean, it's just been, it's been a dream, Bo. Yeah. It's just been absolutely. Sometimes I smack myself saying I get paid to do this. It's just, I'm the luckiest guy there is. I mean, I'm a guy that, is born and raised in Columbus. I was a garbage man. You know that story. I put my way through school collecting trash for the city of Columbus. And, I know that I'm biased, but I think Columbus is the greatest city in the world. I love this place.
The thing that you were taught, the way that you went through all of those things, and yeah, it's basically a snapshot of Americana that you've witnessed firsthand. There was such a responsibility. There still is. We all take everything we do very, very seriously, but there was such a responsibility in those days, Dami, in that no social media, no internet. For a lot of people didn't have cable. I mean, you got to remember, like when you started ESPN's even in its infancy, if people wanted to know what happened in the day in sports, and it wasn't just highlights, but and beyond that, it was breaking news. You talked about a lot of the fun stuff that you've done, but we've had to handle coaching firings and hirings, friends who were fired, who were dismissed. There's been a litany of those. There was an incredible responsibility because it was the only source. You had the newspaper the next day, but in terms of that night, if you wanted to know what was happening in Columbus, Ohio, you turned on Channel 10.
Yeah, it was, and you're right. We covered everything. And, I think about some of the stories, and I tell people that, just when you think you've seen it all, and then this happens, and you think about some of the crazy stuff, it's funny. John Cooper tells all the coaches anytime he gets a chance to talk to them, he said, make as much money as you can. And Thad Matta told me that story. He said, I met Coach Coop. He came up and he said, make as much money as you can because none of us leave here happy. And
he's right.
It is. I mean, you think about some of the things we've seen, Jim O'Brien, you think about what's happening with Tress, Coop, Tress, Urban. I mean, it's just been, it's been amazing. Woody Hayes got fired. I mean, here's Woody Hayes. Think about this. I traveled on an airplane with Woody Hayes and took him to Silver Springs, Maryland, to get an award. Him and Jimmy Stillwagon, two of the greats. I love Jimmy, and it was cool hanging with a guy like John Hicks, the Outland Lombardi, and finished second in the Heisman. I mean, it was just it's been a magical. And I just feel privileged. And then, the other thing, Bo, is being a guy from Columbus, I'm biased about this place. But all these people here in this town, I just feel like they're family to me. And the outpouring of love that they have shown me and my family when we went through the worst thing any parent can go through. And, it's been special. It really has. And to think that, sooner or later, I'm not getting any younger. This is all going to come to an end, but we'll figure something out to keep busy, but I'm not retired yet.
No. This was early on in my time at Channel 10. You showed me a tape of a story that you did that had a live mermaid in it.
Yes, that's true.
Do you know do you still have that tape?
Yeah, they just had it on the air. They played it yesterday, and it's a funny story. Me and Moose, Paul Spahn, he and I, we were attached at the hip, especially in the early days. And he was shooting, and we found out that there was this, there was a home and garden show and outdoor recreation, all this coming to town. And they said, hey, this thing's coming to town, and we're going to have a mermaid at the airport if you want to interview the mermaid. And we're sitting there thinking, Well, think about security. We went right on the plane.
Sure
Remember,
you did.
you saw the video. That was back before there was any kind of security, and so we made it. It was all tongue in cheek, but I was in the restaurant telling some guy that you're not going to believe what happened. I just met a mermaid, and we hit it off, and he's going, "Oh yeah," and it was fun.
You put that up yesterday?
Yeah, that was odd yesterday. I was fishing at the airport golf course, and it shows a video of me making a cast and an airplane landing, grabbed my plane, and I went out to the gate where the plane was, and I told the guy I was fishing, and he goes, "That happens all the time. Go get your pole." And so, I went and got it, and as I went on, here was this mermaid sitting on the airplane, and where fireworks were going off and everything. Yeah. Hope Terry Tiberi's not listening.
No, God bless. And we got to run, but those are the best days sometimes when you wake up and you don't have anything.
Yeah, we didn't have anything.
You got to go figure something out. You got to figure something out.
And then we also, I went through the other thing. They showed a lot of video of the Dare Dom days. You remember that? Oh,
God, yes. I remember that well.
Basically,
I don't know that was necessarily safe.
Yeah, well, it was Dom gets the hell beat out of him. I fought a guy in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Remember, the guy popped my Tommy John, and remember the clue goes, "Hey, what was that noise?" What do you think it was, you idiot? Pop my Tommy John. Omar, that was the guy's name. Omar, if you're still out there, I want to crack at you again, buddy.
No, you don't.
I didn't know I was supposed to tap out. It was a submission hold, and I was too stupid to submit.
No more jiu-jitsu at 6'7". You got grandbabies now. All right, buddy.
Whatever.
Love you, pal.
I love you, buddy.
Soon.
Love you guys.
There he goes. The legend, Dom Tiberi, Channel 10. 45 years at WBNS on Monday on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then they help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 26 Chevy Trax, $169 a month. New 26 Equinox, lease for $229 a month. Or lease a new 26 Silverado, $359 a month. Visit CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Coughlin has the car for you.
39-month leases. Silverado 36-month lease. $39.99 due at signing plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year. 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war. Backed by scientific research, Canines for Warriors has transformed the lives of more than 1,000 veterans, helping them reclaim their independence. To find out more, please visit caninesforwarriors.org. myfamilyfirst.org.
I take care of the kids, my dad, things at work, but I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression. Go to mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Join the fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes, it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, what are we wearing?
Lie detectors. Anytime a lie is detected, we get a little shock.
All right, let's try them. So, Pella was rated by homeowners as the leading window brand here in Columbus.
Nothing? Okay. Well, our windows can change the look of your home. Ow. This thing sometimes shocks you when you tell the truth. Ouch. It's okay. I'm having fun.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Reese's mustache is so nice, it has its own area code. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
According to a probable cause affidavit obtained today by ESPN, Tiger Woods told authorities he was looking down at his phone and changing the radio station before his rollover crash last week in Florida. The 50-year-old Woods was arrested on suspicion of DUI last Friday after his Land Rover clipped a truck and rolled onto its side in his home near his home in Florida. Woods also told a sheriff's investigator he didn't realize the truck was in front of him and it had slowed down. A deputy noticed that Woods had, quote, bloodshot and glassy eyes and, quote, extremely dilated pupils. Woods, who agreed to perform a field sobriety exercise, was also sweating profusely and was lethargic and slow. Again, this is all according to the affidavit. 2 hydrocodone pills were found in Woods' pants pocket. Again, this is also according to the affidavit. Woods told authorities he had no alcohol that day, but he was asked if he had taken any prescription medication. Woods replied, quote, I take a few. Woods added that he took medicine earlier in the morning. Arraignment will be scheduled in Martin County Circuit Court within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Thing or not a thing?
It's a massive thing. I mean, I think it's what all of us assumed once you found out that he, you'd have to talk. When I'd be interested, you'd talk to an attorney, though, in terms of will there be any legal. I would think that as you were reading that, Reese, I would think and I don't know what the Florida laws are on this, but I would think that he would be cited for distracted driving at minimum. Like in a lot of states, if you're caught looking at your phone or if your phone is out, like you can be ticketed and you can get hit pretty hard for that, as you should be. So I think that's probably, if they are looking for some pound of flesh from this, like in terms of law enforcement, that would be the way to do it, because I don't know how you would prove the other things. I mean, I guess he's acknowledging that he took prescription meds. A lot of people take prescription meds. What's he taking prescription meds for? What's the level of them? How do you prove all of that? I think would be very, very difficult. And from a toxicology, is probably out of his system by now. So my guess is the distracted driving is the one. It's all just very, very sad. It's very, very sad. And he's become a very dangerous human being to have on the roadways. And quite honestly, should probably lose his license.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at some of the Florida distracted driving laws, and there's a ban on texting while driving. It doesn't say anything about looking at a phone, but if you're actively typing on the phone or whatnot, just from looking at this real quick, and I'm for sure he's going to get, excuse me, some kind of distracted driving ticket here. We talked about this the other day, and there's no way they were going to be able to make these DUI charges stick because the officer himself admitted there's probably no way to now go back and find out the system. Mm-hmm. Well, if he admitted it, they're going to try now. If he said, yes, I took pills in the morning or he had pills on his possession, now they at least have a case. Can they prove it? But he's definitely going to get charged with it now, and it's going to stick for a while. Now, I'm sure his lawyers will do their best to get him out of it or get this modified. Maybe it will be some kind of driving suspension for Tiger. But Tiger's legal representation should probably have a talk with him about being quiet. You don't have to answer those questions for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier this week, or I guess Monday, the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks will be the featured team on this summer's Hard Knocks. Then in the summer of 2027, the New England Patriots will be featured on HBO. It's the first appearance for both franchises. It'll be the first time since Hard Knocks launched in 2001 with the Ravens that the series has documented a defending Super Bowl champ. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, fun thing. I wonder how many teams haven't done it yet. So these two we were waiting on. Like, how many teams have never been on Hard Knocks? And the other thing I would say to this is the preseason Hard Knocks still works. It still works. The in-season one, the off-season one, they'll never do again because of what the Giants, Joe Shane did with the Giants and all of the things that he talked about. You're never going to see that again. The in-season one doesn't hit as much, I think, because we're just at content overload at that time. But the preseason one, we're jacked up for football. It's a cool view into building a roster. And if they give them access, the right access, then it can be awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I'm for it. I'll watch some of this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the Seahawks. I think it is a thing because you lose Kenneth Walker, JSN gets the huge contract, and the team's up for sale. So I think all of that is some things that could be fun. Plus, you just won the Super Bowl championship. I also think it's interesting that the Patriots are interesting again. Mm-hmm. They weren't interesting there for a while. Post Belichick and Brady and all of that. But now Mike Vrabel gets there. Things get turned around a little bit. And now people are interested in the Patriots and will want to tune in.
So here's the list of teams who have never appeared on Hard Knocks. Preseason. Eagles, Chiefs, Broncos, Jaguars, Titans, Vikings, Packers, Niners. Now that these two are off that list. So there's still a long list of teams who haven't done it.
I think the Eagles and Commanders, didn't they do that weird... like
in season
division one where they just did the entire NFC East?
Yeah.
I have still to this day never watched an episode of Hard Knocks.
Oh my God, you'd love it. It's awesome.
The off-season stuff's good.
Yeah, and the preseason one's good, especially when you get like really good access. Like some teams give really good access. It's cool.
I will say though, my favorite highlights and clips ever of the Hard Knocks were Bob Wiley.
Set Hut. I'm in Hard Knocks. I was in it. They had a dog in the Browns facility named Moose who would walk around the facility. And one day when in the season that the Browns were on, they were following him. And as they were following him, I was broadcasting Bishop and Laurinaitis as they were following him.
So there's, when teams don't want to give you anything, there's still interesting things to be had.
Yeah.
Like a quarterback prospect that is into crystals.
Well.
Not like crystals that, give you energy.
Not crystal meth.
Yeah.
No. That was probably, John Dorsey really misled them.
Not the addictive kind like Block Blast.
No.
Right.
No, God forbid. We got to get this show over with. I got to get to level 44.
On Sunday, St. John's extended Rick Pitino's contract through the 29-30 season, boosting his pay to nearly $7 million annually. That's the second highest in the Big East. Billionaire donor Mike Riepel, who funds much of the NIL efforts for St. John's and owns Body Armor and the UFL, celebrated the move and pledged full support for a potential dynasty. Quote, I'm really excited not only for this year, but also next year. I've already committed my pledge to AD Ed Kroll and the athletic department and Rick Pitino and the team for next year. We don't want this to be a 1 or 2 year thing. We want to build a dynasty here for the next 5 to 10. Thing or not a thing?
This is what I was talking about in the first segment when we weren't talking about Block Blast. If you have one donor like this guy who's got billions, now his money's from Vitamin Water and then Body Armor. That's where his majority, he's a serial entrepreneur. And if you have one guy like this who's like, I want to win a national championship in basketball. Let's go hire the best coach we can hire, and I'm going to pay $30 million a year for the roster to make it so. And then you iDream a genie it, and it's so. So this is a big thing because they're not going to go anywhere. Rick Pitino might be the best coach of the last 50 years, just pure ball coach. It might be him. Take the scandals out of it. It might just be. And now you have the resources to build whatever type of roster he wants to build.
Yeah, it's a major thing for college basketball because say what you want about Rick Pitino, the dude can coach ball.
Yeah.
He has won everywhere that he's been for the most part at the highest level. Now, Iona, he got them to their highest heights and then was out of there quickly. So everywhere he's been at the highest level. It's also a thing because I guess this isn't exactly confirmed yet, but we are going to have Mr. Rapoli on the program tomorrow.
Is that, we're close to that at least?
Yeah.
Tentatively locking it in? Okay,
Yep.
tentatively locking it in. So, because he's, of course, owns the UFL.
Aviators home opener Friday night.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You have the Ryan Day press conference to look forward to, which is nice. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
This March 31st, it's the date of the very first time the Reds opened the baseball season in March. Back in 1998, the Reds and the Padres in the opener, and two big stories that day. The good news, the weather. After weeks of fretting about a cold March opener, Mother Nature sprung a surprise, a summer like 80 degrees on opening day. But the bad news, the Reds lost 10-2, in part because Pokey Reese, starting at shortstop in place of the injured Barry Larkin, had a record 4 errors. Count them, 4. 1 in the first inning and 3 miscues in the third. A club record you don't want to hold, set on March 31st, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Colin Man here for Jermaine. Everybody's talking about affordability when buying a car these days, but the truth is, GoJermaine.com has a great selection of affordable inventory. Maybe that tax return's going to hit your mailbox pretty soon. Well, go see my friends because they have 300 new cars under 30 grand, over 300 used cars under 20 grand, and it's only at GoJermaine.com. And along with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Get started at GoJermaine.com.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Hey there, guys. Bo Bishop here. When it comes to making a big decision like the ring, you don't wing it. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Seller. For nearly 80 years, their family has helped generations of couples celebrate life's biggest moments with exceptional quality, larger diamonds, and better value. And guys, here's the best part. They walk you through it step by step so you know you're getting it right. Whether you're ready to propose or ready to upgrade, visit Diamond Seller, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, or learn more at diamondseller.com. DiamondSeller.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to fund a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State's going to hold Student Appreciation Day Saturday at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Buckeyes wrapped up practice number 6 of the spring earlier this morning. Ryan Day is going to speak with reporters here in a couple of minutes. We'll carry those comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. On the ice tonight at Nationwide, the Blue Jackets look to halt a 3-game slide. CBJ hosts the Hurricanes at 7:30. Hear it on the Fan with coverage at 7. Matthew Olivier is doubtful after suffering an upper body injury in their loss Sunday to the Bruins. The Jackets winger was not at morning skate. Dmitry Voronkov is also out with an injury. Jackets have 7 more games after tonight. They currently occupy the second wildcard spot in the East. Across the street from the Blue Jackets, Huntington Park will open its doors for the Clippers home opener. Columbus hosts Indianapolis at 6:15 for the first Dime a Dog night of the season. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Mark Levy's office a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday edition. We anticipate Ryan Day at the podium relatively quickly here. Bake's got his eyes on that as he will address the media, inching closer to the spring game. I assume some of the topics of conversation will be regard to what Jeremiah Smith had to say over the weekend in terms of his commitment for his third year and some of the teams that were coming after him. A not so veiled identification of the U as one of those teams that certainly probably came at him pretty hard, and you can certainly understand that. Go ahead, Reese.
Do you think anybody affiliated with Ohio State football is ever going to just say it? Miami tried to poach Jeremiah. Like
Probably
explicitly
not.
say the words Miami.
Can I just say this? They should.
I'd be okay with it.
Like if you were the money behind Miami or the money behind LSU or the money behind Texas Tech or the money behind A&M, like wouldn't you call Jeremiah's representation and say, what'll it take?
Oh, yeah. I don't blame Miami one bit.
No. That's why I think we have to get rid of this.
That's the game.
Yes. I think that we all, and probably the most stigmatized team of this era was the national championship team, where it was somehow we had to hear like Desmond talking about the $20 million roster every week. It was like, well, everybody's got a $20 million roster. What's the big deal about these guys? Like, what? You got to get rid of the stigma of that. Like, I don't think there's anything negative to say that Miami was trying to recruit Jeremiah Smith and get him to become a Hurricane. They'd be silly not to. I bet USC reached out to Julian Sayin. I would. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I would have. You should. This is the business. This is the world we live in. Like, if you're not doing that, then are you doing everything in your power to make your team to the best of your ability? There's absolutely no law or enforcement to any of it. If you're not doing that, you're not trying. It used to be an old NASCAR line. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's college sports. Now it's not even cheating. It's all just above board.
Yeah, like Tennessee should have reached out to Peyton Pierce.
Yeah.
If you needed a running back, you should have reached out to Bo Jackson.
They did.
if you're not doing your due diligence on these guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, imagine an NFL. Imagine if there was true free agency every year in the National Football League. How many teams would reach out to Patrick Mahomes every year?
32.
Yeah. Josh Allen.
31.
Every team. 30? You're right. Like, one might, because maybe they like...
One's got Patrick Mahomes. One's got Joe Burrow.
Yeah, one might like their guy a little bit better. But this is the life we've chosen. This is, maybe not chosen. This is the life that we're living in the sport at the moment. And so if you're not trying out for those things, then what are you doing?
You have to understand like what the assignment is. And I think that's such a tip of the cap to what Ryan Day has done with this program. And he was one of the earlier adopters into just how college football is right now. Like there was no complaining, and there hasn't been, at least none that I've heard, from Ohio State in how college athletics is. There's been some consternation, but there's not been this was unfair, this happened to us, this was unfair. It's really just been, I'm sure it's reluctant because nobody wants to do all of this insanity, but they were really just like, here's how it has to be, here's how it's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. And speaking of this is what it is, you guys saw Ryan yesterday. He put this out on social. The concert that they're having after the spring games, so our good buddy Evan in North to Nashville, they will lead that off. They've kind of become like the Columbus band, are they not? I feel like they are. They're awesome.
Everywhere.
Beloved.
They do all this stuff.
Yeah, they crush it, every one of these things. And then Darius Rucker will follow them up. So you've got that, which is pretty damn awesome. I'm going to tell you something about Darius Rucker. The last time I was on the Buckeye Cruise, Darius was the performing act. And I had no idea the scope of the Buckeye Cruise or what Travel Partners was capable of. But sure enough, Darius Rucker performed on the ship. And I had no idea that he had in his arsenal one of the most incredible renditions of Purple Rain you'll ever see or hear. Like the iconic Prince song, crushed.
That's range.
Crushed it.
I can never call him Darius Rucker. He's always Hootie to me.
Well, you and I are of an age where, I mean, he launched with, Hold My Hand and all that stuff. We all assumed that. We all did, because there was no internet, Bake.
Yeah.
There was no way to Google.
He's always Hootie to me. That's the first concert I ever attended, by the way.
I bet it was a banger.
My parents wanted to go. We were old enough to go. We all went with them. And
yeah. So now is he more famous for Hold My Hand and the original Hootie stuff, or is he more famous for Wagon Wheel? Which isn't.
I still think original Hootie stuff, because just like you said, Wagon Wheel's not his.
Is he the first person you ever heard sing it?
Sing Wagon Wheel?
Yeah.
No.
You'd heard others?
I'd heard the Old Crow Medicine Show. I think they were the first.
Yeah.
So that was, because that was senior year in college. So
Reese just dropping it.
Springtime in Athens.
He's got it.
That's what everybody played. It's every other damn song at these street fests, I tell you. These kids, their banjos.
Yeah. But I think he probably popularized it in a big way, because he did the Hootie hits on Hootie and the Blowfish hits on the cruise, but the one that was the sing along the most was Wagon Wheel. That was like the headliner was
That's what gets the people going.
Yeah. And I remember like we were in like a VIP, all of the VIP area, and like Herb Street and Urban and all these folks are down there, and like Hootie the Blowfish or Darius Rucker is singing Wagon Wheel. An entire cruise ship is singing it along with him. And I look over and Brutus is like dancing. And I'm like, how would I explain this to like 22-year-old me? Like just the absurdity of all of this, the scope of all of it. Like, what are we doing?
You couldn't accurately put it into words, like what you witnessed.
You're in a cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic that's raising money for cancer research that has been organized and probably could only be done here at this level by the best people. And you have some of the most famous, influential people in college football along with you. The lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish is singing Wagon Wheel. There's Brutus the Buckeye. The actual guy is dancing in the back. Like, only that level.
Isn't Hootie, though, a South Carolina guy?
Darius is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, big Gamecocks guy.
Bo, still no Ryan Day yet, so you want to go to break a little early so we can catch him on the other side?
Yeah, let's take a quick timeout, and then we'll hit Ryan on the other side of it. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Take your shot to save at Great Lakes Hyundai in Columbus or Dublin. Make a basket for extra savings on top of big shot deals on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Go now, Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. See dealer for details, ends 3/31.
When you are a member of Tel-Ohio, your money works harder for you. Lock in 4% APY on a 24-month CD and watch your savings grow with a credit union built for its members. Visit telohio.org to learn more.
Federally insured by NCUA. Membership open to anyone in Ohio. Restrictions apply.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, you know how we remind people not to be a sump pump grump this time of year?
I sure do. If people's sump pumps aren't pumpy, they sure can get grumpy.
And down in the dumpy.
But our $89 sump pump inspection can replace all that sump pump grumpiness with happiness.
Even if it doesn't rhyme.
Get Eco.
ECO. Our expert sump pump plumbers will make sure your sump pump is working to spec and ready to pump. We'll even do a camera inspection of your downspout drainage system to make sure there aren't any backups causing problems down the line.
And turn your sump pump grump into a flow-it-all, know-it-all.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, I'm starting to think not everything we do has to rhyme.
But rhymes help people remember things they like, Aaron. I mean, you like hokey pokey, don't you?
I do like the hokey pokey.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and sump pump technicians.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.99% APR, 6.02% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Catch all the buzzer beaters, upsets, bracket busters, and more at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. It's the greatest month of the year.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay, too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks, plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan Traffic is sponsored by Care Heating and Cooling.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see partly cloudy skies here for today with highs around 80 degrees. It will also be fairly windy with winds gusting up to near 40 miles per hour here this afternoon. And then for tonight, we'll see showers and storms moving in after midnight with lows down to 63. And then for tomorrow, more scattered showers in the morning and into the afternoon with highs in the 60s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, we anticipate Coach Day at the podium here momentarily as we're inching towards the spring game coming up here relatively soon. I'm guessing you guys addressed this a little bit. What did you guys make of the comments last week from Lane Kiffin when he said things don't happen overnight? There's a ton of work to get the program back where everybody wants it to be. Can you say that with a straight face after what Cignetti did?
So I do think when he was making those comments, it's very easy because it's Lane Kiffin. He'd be like, well, yeah, because he's just tampering beforehand. Right? You tamper so hard that when I think that you're kind of it's expectation setting, right? Your agenda setting where you're like letting your fan base like, hey, this is really difficult because as soon as LSU hits difficulty, people go, why aren't you doing what Cignetti did?
Yeah.
Because now Cignetti's the standard. So I think it almost behooves Kiffin to come out there and be like, look, this is really difficult. And he's kind of right. He's just the wrong messenger to send that. And his contract would dictate that, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to give himself a security blanket here, but you're bringing a lot of guys from an Ole Miss team that was really darn good.
Mm-hmm.
And you hit some other big guys in the portal. You got your quarterback, and Sam Levitt has come there. So, yeah, I mean, that's the wrong guy to be preaching, well, I need a little bit of a runway here.
Yeah, I mean, and the sport doesn't require a runway anymore. You can flip a roster, and by the way, the cupboard's not bare. It's LSU. They got a ton of talent. They got a safety that's going to go in the top 10 of this draft. So you still have a ton of talent at LSU, and then you add your guys to it, and you get probably the biggest portal class of anybody in the sport. Like, yeah, I mean, you might not want to hear it, but you can't have it both ways, right?
What you also do
like he wants both.
Is Monday have Josh Pate come out on his college football show and say LSU deserves some patience, or Lane Kiffin deserves some patience from the LSU faithful. You're not going to get it.
I think Cignetti wrecked all of that.
Cignetti destroyed the whole thing.
Feinbaum, do me a solid here.
I think when Paul comes on Thursday, I'd be interested to hear his thoughts on that, because I would think he would agree with us in that, no, you don't get patience here. Win.
The patience doesn't exist in major college football, and it shouldn't.
Win, dude, and win now.
No, if we're gonna have this be the case with the free roster movement and all of it, no, coaches should be held to the same standard. They're making a ton of money. Win now. You don't need 3 recruiting classes.
Because LSU's paying Brian Kelly's buyout, they paid Lane Kiffin's buyout for Ole Miss, and they're also paying Lane Kiffin. Like we were talking last week, that it's more than $200 million that LSU spent on football and men's basketball alone in the last 6 months.
All from chicken fingers?
Well, he's worth a couple billion.
I wouldn't want to do what we do anywhere else than here in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick somewhere else, Baton Rouge would be pretty fun right now. Baton Rouge would be a hell of a time.
Jacob Hester's our old buddy. We have him on every once in a while. He's down there living it. He's living his best life, man, with those personalities. Do you ever think, every once in a while, the boys will still, I'll grab some canes for the boys. I wonder if it hits people dry, because cane's obviously incredibly popular here and incredibly popular on campus. Does it hit different knowing?
No, it's still great.
That you're fueling LSU?
It doesn't to me, but I will say this. Every time I see a crumble cookie, I think of BYU sticking it to Penn State. I do think about that.
Yeah, I watch Landman in a new...
That was almost a spit take.
Landman, I watch in a new light now.
Yeah.
It does change how we view these things, but Canes is still delicious.
Yeah, it's still great. Still pretty undefeated. But yeah, you think about those things, because this is, you think about the Landman thing at Texas Tech. That's what's happening there. And hopefully we have, is it Mike Rapoli? Is that it is? Or is it Repol? I'm not sure.
Rapoli.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully we have him on tomorrow. He is a one-man basketball relevancy foundation for St. John's. He's a graduate. The basketball program means a lot to him there. He has reached a point financially where he can have an emphasis on it and an impact on it in a massive way, and he is quite literally putting his money where his mouth is. That university does not have the money to do what he's doing, but he does. And in an NIL world, this goes back to the conversation we had a little bit on Monday's show in terms of the blue bloods in college basketball. You don't need to be a blue blood anymore at all. I mean, first time since 1954, no Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina, UCLA in the Sweet 16. Think about that. Do you have the funds to get the players that you want? And then in that world, best not miss, because there's misses in that world too. And the margin for error and misses is much greater in football than it is in basketball. You pay $2 million for a transfer center in basketball, and he either doesn't play or doesn't fit. And remember, these are all shotgun marriages.
Was the Washington Center?
Oh, the kid who had started at Montana.
Osibor?
Yeah, the kid who started at Montana State.
Paid
Yeah,
$2.5 million.
Yeah, he followed Danny Sprinkle from Montana State to Utah State to Washington. Followed him the whole way, and it just didn't work. A more recent example of it is Kentucky. They spent $30 million on their roster, mostly in the portal. They get an injury right away to the kid from Arizona State. The point guard from Pitt got hurt right away. They never saw it on the court, and they had a season where the highlight was a half-court shot to get him into round 2. That's the gamble you're playing at that sport. But if you have somebody like Rapole who's ready to go and is saying, we're going to do this for not only this year, but for the next 5 to 10, that's where you start to get a little bit of that separation that can occur. And St. John's is going nowhere because Pitino can flat out coach it. And they're going to be in the mix for a long, long time. And yes, LSU, I mean, you heard Will Wade's press conference yesterday.
He's bringing on some assistants, too, that are nefarious in the NCAA recruiting world.
Is that even possible?
Not anymore.
Right?
I mean, you really can do whatever, so long as you have financial backing.
Yeah.
And if the university backs you, hell, if the governor backs you, you're good.
I heard T-Bone and Tyvis this morning talking about sports villains.
Yeah.
And how there really wasn't a great sports villain right now. Is Will Wade like the guy that could be the great sports villain?
Well, I don't know what you would call like who's the opposite of the Avengers? Is there a group of bad guys?
No, I just think there's like one or two every movie.
Like, what's the axis of evil? What is that from?
World War II?
No, not those. Were they just the Axis powers? I don't know that they were. Whatever.
I think there's the Injustice League. I think that's a different comic book thing.
Okay. Whatever that is, just go to Baton Rouge. Like, if T-Bone and Tyvis are looking for bad guys, you got Kiffin, who I personally love, but I understand how all the rest of you don't. Will Wade. And then Mulkey. I mean, she's right there from a villain perspective. All you need is LSU. That's the villain of the sport. You're looking for villains. That's it.
Nothing will bring together college football like LSU losing.
No.
The South's going to hate them. The South's just going to root against them. The North's going to root against them. I was thinking of, like, Bo Ryan as a good folly.
Great. God, he was great.
And I think that's kind of what, like, we always talk about Illinois, Burt Bielema as just being a good folly kind of a villain. I'd like somebody like that rather than Lane. Because I don't know what the hell LSU's going to be this year.
Well, I think they'll be pretty dang good. I think he's a really good coach. The best villain that we ever had was Harbaugh. It was Harbaugh when Urban was here. That was the best. Harbaugh, without the ability to cheat, was the best villain because he never won. He was pissed off all the time. Always claimed he was just such an easy villain. One of the boys asked me that, because they just hate Michigan with the fire of 1,000 suns. And they asked me on spring break they said, well, who's the next coach? Who's the coach at Michigan? They had forgotten. And I said, Kyle Whittingham. And they were like, well, who's he? And I'm like, oh, he is at Utah and actually was under Urban, kind of an Urban disciple. And like, it occurred to me while I was saying that it's going to be very odd to not have dislike for the coach at Michigan. Like, I like Kyle Whittingham. Like him. Seems like a really good dude. Runs good program. I like how his teams play. You know, when we've met him in bowl games, we played in a couple, it's always been kind of fun. So that's going to be a weird one to not have like a true villain, because Sharon could kind of just carried on the Harbaugh stuff. You know, he was easy to dislike. I don't dislike Kyle Whittingham. I'm sure I'll learn to, but I don't right now.
Yeah, I think it'll come.
It'll get there.
It'll build toward when you get closer to November, then closer to the game.
Yeah, I'm curious how he handles it. You know, like how he will handle that rivalry. And will he have a little edge to him?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be the kind of edge that Harbaugh had, or that even Urban had towards that team up north, where he wouldn't recognize them. He wouldn't call them that team. He wouldn't call them Michigan. Anybody who wore blue had to do push-ups.
Right.
And then there was Brady Hoke, who just kept calling them Ohio State, Ohio. There's
always one guy that has to make it weird.
There's a fine line. You got to walk with it, right?
Well, all the M's crossed out, all the don't wear blue, all that team up north, that was all Urban. That was all Urban.
And obviously it doesn't matter when you're Jeremiah Smith. If you want to wear a blue sweatsuit, you can wear a blue sweatsuit to pro day.
I'm glad that was I love Herbs, but that was something that was
we got silly. Ryan Day.
Let's go to him now.
We'll start with Dave up front.
Thanks. Hi, Ryan. I was looking at your stats at New Hampshire when you were quarterback, and I knew you had a ton of passing yards. I've looked at that before. You also averaged 300 rushing yards a season. And you've had quarterbacks here that ran the ball, like obviously Will, Justin. With Julian, what's your philosophy with him? Like, how important do you think it is for him to pick up one or two cheap first downs or whatever it is per game?
Yeah, it's the X factor. And it's something, he knows that, some of the games he did this year. And I think going into this season, there's going to be opportunities for him to do that. And that, can be a big point of the game. And so I think there's two ways to do that. One is when it breaks down, escaping the pocket, keeping your eyes downfield, or then escaping and getting a few yards. In the rivalry game, he had a big scramble down the sideline for a first down. That was huge. More of that, the better. And then there's also the run game, where whether it's a design run or he's reading somebody in the box, equating numbers. So, the more we can do that, the better. Again, is that going to be the first thing we do with him? No, but he needs to be able to do that. All of our quarterbacks do.
Joe.
Ryan, sort of a big picture question. We've been talking tons last season, but the offense was on the slower end nationally in pace of play. You talked at times last year about you wanted efficiency, and that was sort of the guiding philosophy. Now that you've had time, how did you feel about how it ended up in terms of the pace and playing fast versus playing slow and being efficient?
Yeah, ultimately it comes down to efficiency, and if playing faster gives us more efficiency, that's fine too. But ultimately, it comes down to how well we execute. I think when you look at the year before and you look at last year, the last 2 years, I think it's pretty close. And so that's typically what it comes down to. So we're always looking to be more efficient.
Yeah.
Coach, with 51 new players and the schedule that's looming, does this spring seem different? And it used to be you'd bring in the young guys and whatever, but you guys got to kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah, it's more like preseason camp. We've never had this many players for spring practice, and so it's allowed us an opportunity to actually get a couple, 2 fields going at once, and practice 3 groups when we're all together. So, and be a little bit more creative. Even today, kind of how we finished practice was a little bit different, and how we're, being efficient with our time. But it's a good opportunity to get a lot of guys a lot of reps. There's been times, in the past where, you didn't have enough offensive linemen because you were waiting for guys to come in the summer, whether they were freshmen. You had the second portal. The portal's done, and other than just, Tucker, everybody else is here for the freshmen. So it's been good. It's been good to get a head start with our team. That's the other part of it. There's certainly a lot of negatives to the way that January goes. But if you're looking at the positives are you know who your team is, and you get a start to work with everybody and pull them together. So, even now we're working on building an identity, building a personality, when typically the spring was so much focused on individuals getting better. We're able to focus on those things a little bit more. But to your point, 51 new players, we're just learning. One of the goals is to learn how to practice, because we might play 15, 16, 17 games, but the goal ultimately is to practice at a high level as well. So that means you're talking about more than 120 some odd practices from now until the end of the year. We have to learn how to practice and get better at practice. So when you come in here as a young player, or maybe from another program, you may not know how we practice, but we got to learn to practice really competitive, really intense, but also take care of each other to make sure that we aren't getting guys hurt, because we can't send anybody off of waivers. This is who we got. So all those things are playing into this spring, and it is a little bit of a different feel.
Steve. You guys haven't necessarily rotated a ton at different skill position groups throughout the year, but as you talked about with how evaluations are so important, like obviously the financial aspect of some of this stuff, you take a guy like Devin and you gave him 300 plus snaps last year, I'm assuming you're expecting that to maybe pay off because of what he was able to do last year. Do you guys maybe want to approach that with younger players more, like what you did with Devin last year, where whether it's Jay Timmons, whether it's Chris Henry Jr., but like get these guys on the field as quickly as possible to find out what they are and whether or not your investment is worth a long-term thing, essentially, if you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the first thing we always want to do is win the game, as we know. But then from there, we want to put the best players on the field. And there are guys that deserve to play. And if they earn that right in practice, then we got to put them in the game. Looking at our depth chart and looking at our team, I do think that we have more depth probably in this team here, just across the board, than some of the teams we've had in the past. So as you go through each position, you recognize depth. Now, the question is who's going to step up and be those high-end players, those impact players that are going to produce. We do have some that are coming back, but to your point, the more experience you can give a young player, they come in next year looking to take the next step. And that's important. I think it's the same way with Julian. It's the same way with some of those guys. So we'll try to do that the best we can, but we all know the number one goal here, and that's to win games. But if guys deserve to play, we're going to roll and play with depth. And I think when you look at our roster, you're going to see us probably be in a situation in most positions to play depth this season, maybe more than we have in the past.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you feel like having more depth can play into like philosophically how you want to approach things, whether you're playing fast, playing slow? When you have more guys that you can maybe get into the mix versus last year, it didn't sound like you guys have that same amount of depth as us.
Well, I think, the whole idea about playing fast is a conversation that, we can have if you want, but, when it goes back, like you don't really see anybody playing fast in the NFL. Some people use it as a tempo changer. And then some teams in college, that's what they do. They play really, really fast. And, they count on that to wear teams down, and that's their philosophy. To me, the number one thing is efficiency. And that's what it comes down to now. Whether we have, to your point, like more depth at other positions, then we probably can afford to play more snaps throughout the season, then I think you can take a look at that if we feel like it gives us an edge. And so I think it's something to at least consider.
Dylan on the right. Tavian last year, he seemed like he was probably a little more mature than maybe a lot of first-year quarterbacks would be in the first place, but obviously he's still going through things for the first time. Coming into this spring, how different does he seem to you going through these spring workouts?
Another year under his belt, more confident, has had some really good plays. He's understanding, how to run the offense, how to take care of the football. He's still doing things for the first time. And we're seeing, Julian, set the tone in terms of how it's supposed to look and how you handle yourself. So that's been good for him. But he needs to play, and the more reps he gets, the better he'll be. If you watched him, during that pro day, he throws a beautiful ball and has the size and all those things. It's playing the game that he needs to continue to do, and the preparation for what we're asking our quarterbacks to do. So there has been improvement there. There's another year of maturity, but he has to come in every day with the expectation that he's playing in the second game against Texas. That he's got to go win these big games, and that's a big responsibility. Sometimes when you're a backup, you don't feel all that coming on you like you're the starter, but that's the approach he has to have because he's one snap away.
Adam on the right.
Earl Little lost his black stripe after just 5 practices. What have you seen from him both on the field and then as a leader already acclimating to this locker room?
Earl Little?
Yeah.
Yeah, Earl, first off, the guys know him, so, Brandon sort of grew up with him, Jeremiah, some of the South Florida guys know Earl, and then obviously the Bama guys know Earl from when he was there. So, I think, he quickly assimilated in terms of just socially with the guys, and then on the field, plays fast, plays twitchy, communicates well, did a great job in the weight room with Mick. So all of those things you could just see naturally as he went into the spring. You felt like this was going to go well. Then you start to see his play on the field. The first time we're tackling and scrimmaging, he's the first guy showing up, making tackles and making plays, and just jumped off the screen right out of the gate. So good for him. He's somebody that saw what we did last year, and I think really liked the scheme part of it. But you'll have to talk to him. But the feedback we're getting from him is he really enjoys the culture, loves the competitiveness. So he's been a bright spot.
Spencer on the right.
Ryan, we've seen a lot of freshman receivers come through here and flash early. What is Brock doing that is so impressive to you right now?
Well, he got his black stripe off today, so I'm sure that'll be a headliner. He made another couple big plays today. This is somebody who knows how to run a route. He's serious about it. He can play multiple positions, and he's productive. He's his dad is a coach, and his dad's a receiver coach, and he plays that way. But he's got quick twitch. He can change direction. He's got strong hands. I'm excited to see where his career goes, but he's off to a great start.
Just a quick follow-up. Is this you see a lot of guys come through here and you kind of have an idea of who could possibly flash? Is he somebody that is even surprising you guys for what he's doing this early?
I mean, I didn't have expectations other than he was going to come in and compete, but I had a feeling, just watching him in high school and his approach, that he would be able to step on the field early and make an impact. He can handle all 3 positions, and then you just see the change direction and the route tree and the seriousness and the competitiveness and the toughness. All those things were why we recruited him, and you're starting to see that right from the first week of practice on the field. So we'll see where it goes, but again, another good start.
Bill in the center.
Ryan, you guys have Kenyatta back at defensive end. And I'd imagine he's having a good spring. Aside from him, who is standing out to you at that position group right now?
Well, I think you're seeing, Quay Russo really make an impact out there. He flashed a few times today, made a couple sacks on 3rd down. And then, you obviously have Kenyatta, but that's a position where, we're going to really need some production this year. And so Bo Atkinson, is a guy that had a really good offseason, and, he wants to take the next step this season. Zion Grady had a little bit of a soft tissue, but he's starting to practice again. So we're looking to see him really take the next step as well. And then you have some of the younger guys. You have Epi and some of those younger guys that need to step up into those roles. So, we'll see, but, they're working hard at it, and we'll take a look at the film and see how they did. But they got in the backfield a few times today, so that was a good start. But we know, what that job entails, is getting the quarterback on 3rd down and stopping the run and setting the edge on 1st and 2nd.
Tony on the left.
Ryan, after the first day, you mentioned maybe the running backs being your biggest concern. How have those 4 guys, each of those 4 guys that are healthy enough to go, been doing, and how have they alleviated your concerns at all?
They're working, looking to get better. I don't think that's going to get solved in just a week of practice. We got work to do there. And so, they got to keep getting better. Legend's been out here for a couple practices. Again, hopefully we can get him back here soon. But he certainly flashed when he was in there. But making the transition from being a quarterback to playing running back is 2 different things, especially at Ohio State. So he's learning that. Favor's learning that. Jacoby has very good instincts and vision. Again, he's learning the offense, but he's shown the ability to really hit the hole the right way, and he's working on playing with more power behind his pads. And then Turbo has had a much better offseason than he had the year before. And so he's getting better, but we still got a long way to go.
Austin on the right.
Ryan, during that brief stint when Bill O'Brien was here, you mentioned how valuable it was, even just in a week or 2 weeks, to have a fresh set of eyes on what you guys do and the feedback. What was the first few conversations like with Arthur Smith, and what's been his impact in a similar fashion?
Well, I think for me, being here now going on 10 years, there's a lot of other ways to do things. And, what I wanted to do was really have an open mind on, when he comes in, what is he seeing? What is he looking at, and taking that feedback? Also knowing that we've had a lot of success here and the things that we've done. So I think that's what we've been trying to do, is mesh those things together. For Arthur, coming from the NFL, there are some things with the hash marks and such that he's getting accustomed to. But it was great to listen to his kind of approach and get the first few installs kind of just from his point of view, with no type of influence on me. And then as time goes on, we'll continue to combine these things with our experience. But it's been good. He's a really good communicator. He is very, very intelligent. He's very excited about our guys. I think when he looks at our offense and he looks at the weapons and he looks at the offensive line and everything, there's really not much that you can't do. So the question is, what do we want to really get good at? And he believes in efficiency. He believes in running the football, play action pass, and obviously, we know we're gonna have to win games in the fourth quarter this season, with our schedule and 2-minute drill and everything else. So, but that's the thing with him. He really does understand the pass game and the run game at a very high level. So it's been great, and I think it's been good for our offensive staff to see a different way to approach things, but also not losing our identity.
Andrew on the right.
Brian, you talked a lot about the philosophy of putting together a recruiting class in the fall and as you get close to signing day. With that in mind, has that changed at all, what you want to accomplish in the spring as you guys host dozens of kids each kind of weekend? Does that maybe change what you want to accomplish as you go to the summer, knowing that there might be a wave coming in October and November?
Every time we practice, it's a showcase for our guys. It's a showcase for our program. It's an opportunity for recruits to come in and watch our coaches play, watch the competitiveness of our practices, be around our culture, see our city. So these are great opportunities every time we have recruits in a building. So, the weekdays are usually good for those who are on spring break, and then the Saturdays are dynamite. So this weekend is a big one for us. We have our Student Appreciation Day, and we're expecting a big crowd. So these are great opportunities. And the idea now more than ever is to make sure that these guys know exactly who we are, what the program is, what the culture is, open up our doors, and then decide if this is what they want. Because I've said it before, Ohio State's not for everybody. And us identifying those right people who are super competitive, understand that we're not allowed to have a bad day here is critical. And watching how we practice is great. But it's also good for them to get around, again, our coaches and see how they operate, see how they treat their players, see how they meet, see how they are on the field. And the more we do that, typically the closer the relationships get and the more we get to learn about them, and that helps. We kind of feel like the more guys get on campus and the more we get to know each other, the more accurate we are in terms of identifying the right people that fit us.
Patrick in the center.
All right, there you go. Ryan Day from the podium up on campus. Some things to get into certainly tomorrow, but Brock Boyd. I don't know that people would have had that as the first freshman to lose the black stripe, the wide receiver, 3-star out of South Lake Carroll, same high school as Quinn Ewers. They run a professional program down there, so him being able to come in and jump on a treadmill running is pretty impressive. Also, the Legend Bay, he's been out a little bit while, and then Earl Little Jr. getting a black stripe removed, and Coach talking glowingly about that. So a lot to digest in the Ryan Day press conference. Get to three things coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
All are aware of the tradition and the high level of talent that has excelled at Ohio State in the wide receiver room. And certainly Jeremiah Smith is the headliner when you think about what he's done the last 2 years. But another key contributor is Brandon Innes, who is a returning player coming back to help in that area. And Innes talks about the sacrifices he's made for this spring to get ready for next season.
It means everything. Now in offseason, that was my number one goal. was to be an Iron Buckeye. I got an opportunity to go on the Buckeye Cruise, but there's a rule: if you're going on the Buckeye Cruise, you can't be an Iron Buckeye. And I was solely focused on being an Iron Buckeye, being one of the hardest workers on the team, and I'm glad that I was able to hit that goal.
Not only has Brandon Innes contributed as a wide receiver, he's been a crucial part of what has happened with special teams at Ohio State. This report brought to you by Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills. This is Paul Keels on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Buckeye fans, game day just got hotter. Whether you're parked in the shoe lot or grilling at home, it's not a tailgate without Weber Grill's Traveler Grill. Fires fast, folds flat, fits compact, and delivers championship flavor every time. Burgers, brats, steaks, even rival fans agree. Bring the taste of victory wherever you grill. The Weber Traveler Grill. Tailgate tough, Buckeye proud. Weber Grills. Taste the tradition. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like the best-selling all-hybrid Toyota Camry. Now through March 31st, you can get 4.99 APR financing on any new 26 Camry. Or lease a new well-equipped Camry LE for just $269 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Columbus has a new football team, the Aviators. UFL football lands April 3rd. Be there for our home opener at historic Crew Stadium. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at uflaviators.com. That's uflaviators.com. United, we fly.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, there you go. Before we get to the fan poll and three things, anything jump out to you guys? The Boyd stuff was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was interesting. He said they're going to try to roll at more positions this season, but I don't know if the schedule allows for that.
Yeah,
and
creatively.
He was asked a lot about pace of play, and he talked about being more efficient. And if I'm to just draw a couple of, red yarn on a corkboard, more efficient, I would think, would mean more points per possession or more points per game, and that would either mean you're opening up the offense or you're having to run more plays. So
it means when you get in the red zone, you best get points.
Yeah,
that's that, because if you're going to continue, it sounds like he's not interested in playing fast. It was Bids who asked the Julian question about the scramble.
I like that we had his college stats right there. You average 300 yards on the ground per season.
Kind of a bummer that Legend Bay has had to miss a couple practices here because it seemed like he had a lot of momentum early. Also didn't seem like Ryan was very happy with the running back room today.
I bet it's not. I mean, he's well into it. I mean, if you think about no Bo, no Isaiah, right? No there is no depth there. You can't have it the way you used to have it. You can't have 5 stars in a room. Those days are done, man. What do we have in the poll, Reese?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, do you think it's easier to win a national championship in college football or college basketball? 54% say college football, 46% say college basketball.
We're taking that from the perspective of Ohio State.
Yeah, right? Because that's insane.
Yeah, it's college basketball by far.
Yeah.
If you have one, if you do what Mike Rapoli's doing at St. John's, and you hire a great coach, and then you put $30 million on the roster, that's what you do. You can put a super team together in college basketball. They're both really hard. I suppose the randomness of basketball makes it a little harder, where usually the best team wins in football.
Yeah, but if you have a recruiting class and you get 2 dudes, you're there.
You're there. Yeah, you're going to be. That's what I said about St. John's. Like, they're going to be in the mix for the foreseeable future as a powerhouse. All right, let's hit 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Reese, you'll remember this very well. It was Masters Week, so it was next week. I want to say either 2 or 3 years ago. And Tiger Woods was launching his clothing line. And we said, well, I would like to buy some. It was Masters Week.
It was last year, actually.
Was it last year? Okay. I can't remember if it was last year.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, within the last couple of years. And I said, well, I'd like to buy some. I'll buy some right now. So on the show, I tried to buy it. Well, it turns out you couldn't buy it. You had to enter a lottery to buy it, and then the lottery was going to be unveiled sometime in May. And we said, well, that's about as dumbest thing as you could possibly do. You're launching a clothing line, but I can't buy it for 2 months? That's what you're telling me? So I've never bought any of it. For some reason, because my guess is that day I had to sign up for their emailer in order to have the privilege of buying it. Today, I got an email for them wanting me to purchase their spring collection. Sunday Red, coordinators of your email blasts. Maybe sit this week out.
Yeah, the timing,
jeez,
odd, but they're trying to move merch before the Masters.
You had a chance, man. You blew it, boy.
Yeah, it's a bad job out of Tiger. Good job out of everybody who utilizes X's community notes function. I saw this from friend of the program, Amanda Kristovich. She's a big UConn fan. I think she went there. John Rothstein had a reaction to UConn's almost buzzer beater against Duke. For the first time in 42 and a half years, I am speechless. Readers added context. John Rothstein has been left speechless multiple times in the past, so this isn't the first time in 42 years. They've got January of 2025, April of 2021, December of 2020, March of 2019, December of 2010. So good job at everybody keeping him honest.
That's pretty good.
I've said multiple times on this program that Tommy Boy is my favorite movie of all time.
You know, a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
And then we got this great one as well.
Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
Well, that movie was released 31 years ago today. And it's one of those movies that I don't care if I see it on. I usually put it on. It doesn't matter where it is in the movie. I feel like what little bit of humor that I have has come from Chris Farley and Tommy Boy and those over the time. And I can't help but think what the last, however long it's been, 25 years since he passed. I can't help but think what comedic genius we missed out on with him dying too early.
Yeah, him and Belushi, both at the same age, right? Both were 27. And
he idolized Belushi.
Yeah. Real quickly, second one. We're only going to have time for 2 today. Up against it a little bit. Lacrosse is back. It's in terms of full speed. They've been practicing for a long time, 1 or 2 days a week, but now 5 days a week. Away we go. And it was beautiful last night. Weather was great. It's so good to get back under the lights in a spring sport when the weather cooperates.
Final thing for me, this from Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com. Todd Monken, speaking at NFL owners' meetings, said he's got the gold porcelain horse's head that Shedeur Sanders gave him displayed in his office between two Browns helmets because Sanders comes into an office a lot. Monken says, quote, if Deshaun gave me an elephant, I'd have that up there too. And now Deshaun, you have to give him a whole elephant.
Well, he can afford it.
Yeah.
Final thing for me, don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice have you covered throughout your afternoon. Tyvis Powell, an hour earlier today at 12:30. You'll also probably get a lot of reaction from Ryan Day's press conference.
There you go. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.